I do.
Covino and Rich.
Are you ready?
Honestly, how do I deal with you every day?
Get ready.
You're on the radio.
Whoa! Yeah!
Holy mother nugget! And holy mother meatball!
I'm the smartest man alive! You're so ridiculous. What? You're such a fool. Get out of here.
Oh, I'm a disc jockey.
What's a disc jockey?
Here we go. Covino and Rich.
Let's go!
Fun day.
Oh, yeah.
Fun day.
Hope you had a Kiwi Kwan sort of weekend.
Oh, yeah.
An EEAAO sort of weekend. Mexico dominating
Wait,
the
hold on.
U.S.
Did
at
you
the
just buy a-
WBC.
Did you
sort of
just buy a
weekend.
vowel?
I did. Everything,
say,
everywhere, all
EEIOU?
at once.
Oh.
No, I'm talking about the movie that everybody's talking about, that I was telling you about a long time ago that no one cared about until yesterday. Either way, congrats to all the Oscar winners. Hope you had a nice weekend. We have a short work week. We do. I don't know about you, but we be rocking out. Let's go. Yeah. It's going to be a spotless show today, but he's here. Hi,
Oh,
Spot.
he's here. Hi, Spot.
Hi.
Can he talk?
Yeah, I just heard,
Oh, you heard him? Okay.
faintly in the background.
Hi.
That's Rich Davis. I'm
Oh.
Covino. You guys know that. You're our friends and patrons.
Maybe he's trying my new parenting method.
Which is why.
I saw something on TikTok.
Hi.
Hi, Spot. There you are. Hey, buddy.
Hi. Sorry, I was controlling things and trying to talk at the same time.
Oh, it's all good, buddy. Hey, we're putting together shows on vacation week. We'll get to that in a second. But I saw something on TikTok, and I'm all about trying to do things to see if they work when it comes to parenting, because no one's figured it out. That's the truth. No one's the genius Lenny Poffo when it comes to parenting. But I heard some dude, and he said, you know how you get in your kid's face practically? And you could be like, Emmy, yo, Emmy, Melody. How many times have you screamed her name like within 2 feet of her and she's not hearing you?
Melody, don't forget your headphone case. Melody, don't forget your headphone case. Melody, don't forget your headphone case. Oh, Dad, turn around. I forgot my headphone case. Not turning around.
So I heard some dad say, I got an idea. Your kid could be watching a show, playing a game on their iPad. You could say their name a million times. They don't hear you. You could scream, Emmy! Whisper. And for some reason, your kid's like, what?
Nah, Earthquake says shut off that Wi-Fi.
You could shut off that Wi-Fi.
Shut off that Wi-Fi. They come running down the stairs.
No, but if you want to get your kid's attention, I heard you could just be like, yo, Emmy.
I think Earthquake said that. Who said that shit?
No, Earthquake.
It was,
Yeah,
right?
the comedian Earthquake.
He says your kids never listen. You know how you get their attention? Shut off that Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna start using this method on the two of you.
Honestly, Emmy. Maybe the whisper insinuates like, yo, I got something special to say.
Oh. I mean, you talk a lot, so maybe she's just used to hearing your voice constantly. In
Yeah,
Emmy's
but-
defense.
But all kids just don't listen. They like little zombies. You could be like, yo, kid. Oh, yeah, we what?
Well, you know, I have what I call selective hearing, and that doesn't mean that what I'm choosing is more important. It's that I'm so uberly focused on whatever it is at hand, whether it be the TV or my phone or reading something, that I'm not hearing the outside noises until you get my attention. And then you're halfway through the sentence. I'm like, wait, what? But that's not my fault because I was focused on some other shit when you started talking. Maybe that's what they're going through. They're zoned in on their Bluey and their, that guy's name that you love? Asian guy?
Asian guy.
Yeah. Blippi. Don't tell me-
Blippi's not Asian.
Oh, really? What is
He's
he?
Asian?
Since when is Blippy Asian?
Since when is he not?
Hold on.
You're the one that told me he was.
I know
Was
I
he-
never
is he
said that. 'Cause
Mexican?
I know I never said that. Blippy's like a white dude.
Yeah, but they had a new Blippi, and it was the big controversy. Yeah, how were you forgetting? You're the dummy that told me.
Yeah, but that
Did the
never.
guy
If
watch
there
that
wasn't,
shit?
if there was a new Blippy, it did not last.
Does this fucking guy remember anything? This is shit you told me. I don't watch Blippi.
Oh, there is a new Blippy.
Yeah, because you told me about
Hold on
that
one
shit
second.
over a year ago. Is this guy for real? He's losing his mind. And we're reaping all the benefits. Cuckoo's nest, cuckoo's nest. Your kid is so zoned in on whatever they're watching that they're not focused on you until they're, oh, it's like they're in a trance. They're hypnotized a little bit. Shit happens. Anyway, we're Covino and Rich. There is Asian Blippy that Rich told us about.
Well,
acting like I DVR that shit.
They were trying it and it didn't work.
Well, either way. What you told me last was there's a new Asian Blippy and he was great. And that the real original Blippy was still in charge of the whole thing.
I think you're confusing another show.
No,
because
that
I never
was
said
Asian
I never
Blippy.
the new Asian Blippy. I never watched, so I don't know if he's good or not at all. To be honest,
How in the world?
I've
But
never
I
seen
know.
him.
Okay.
I've never seen an episode of it, but I knew they were experimenting with one. But the old Blippy is the one that.
And you read me an article about Asian Blippy, and you told me that he's good, but the other dude's still involved. They're just sending the other guy out and about or whatever.
Well, they were trying to do like different events and shows with a different Blippy.
Oh, don't try to tell me now because clearly you don't remember. Either way, I don't care. What I was trying to say is you're in a trance.
But you're telling me something that I've never seen. So
You're
that's the thing.
telling me about
If
some
you're
shit
thinking
you
about-
didn't
maybe you're thinking
remember
about Blue's Clues, I
that
think.
you told me. No, I know Blue's Clues, and there is no Asian fucking host. I know
Well, there
Blue's
is an
Clues.
Asian. There is the main guy of Blue's Clues is Asian.
I don't think he's Asian. I think he's Hispanic. Anyway, moving on. I think it's fair to say that much like a little kid, I have a pea brain. So I'm focused on the Yankees, or I'm watching a TikTok dance, or I'm reading some feedback, or I'm doing some research for the show, or I'm listening to our podcast. Yeah, I'm focused and zoned in on that.
Sean Wyman nailed it. It was Blue's Clues. I said the new Asian guy on Blue's Clues is great. I've never seen the new Asian
It
Blippy.
was Blippy he talked
No,
about.
it wasn't,
I
because we
remember.
talked about the new Blue's Clues
I
guy.
talk about Blue's Clues all the time. I know Blue's Clues. I'm familiar with Blue's Clues. It's not Blue's Clues just because Sean Wyman said Blue's Clues.
No, but that's what, because I'm
Show
wondering.
me a picture of the guy from Blue's Clues.
The new Blue's Clues guy is Asian and he's hilarious. This guy.
You told me about Blippy. I don't know anything about Blippy.
That guy. Remember that guy? We talked about him. That's a new Blip. The new Blue's
That
Clues guy.
guy's vaguely Asian.
What? Vaguely?
Vaguely
Now
Asian.
you're being silly. Vaguely Asian?
He's vaguely Asian.
Come on. Now you're just being silly.
Look up his ethnicity. He's probably Filipino. It's not like he's from Korea. It's not
When you
like-
look, I agree, Kyle. When you look, if you've got kids and you look up Blippy, it's always the white guy. They don't even acknowledge it.
I know. Jeez Louise, I'm telling you what you told me. I wish you can go back to the videotape. You act like I care. I'm backing you up saying, yeah, people are into whatever they're focused on. Yeah, he's vaguely Asian, but that's not the guy Rich talked about.
Well, I couldn't have talked about the other guy because I don't know him. So there must be some confusion.
Not on my part. Because I don't know shit about Blippy. Like zilch, nothing. I've never watched any Blippy. Anyway, Covino and Rich. I think it makes sense, doesn't it? So anyway,
The new host of Blue's Clues is Joshua Dela Cruz. So I'm sure he's
Filipino.
some
which is vaguely Asian.
Yeah, but he's like a full-time deal. He's a Filipino American. The new Blue's Clues guy is all the rage. The new Blippy didn't last. Covino, you're not listening.
You're not whispering.
Wait, that's probably why. I think Rich said Blue's Clues. I slightly remember. That's EJ Reed.
He didn't. He came in and told us that he was all upset
I was not.
that there was a new Blippy. It was the whole fucking story.
Okay.
I remember. I do the show with him.
Fine. If
Sorry,
everyone's
guys.
backing me up at you, that's fine.
Okay, Spot, can you find that, please, when you have a spare second? The day Rich came in and said he was all sad because they had a new Blippy and he loved the old
How am I gonna
Blippy.
find
We
that?
talked about Blippy taking shits and what a degenerate he was before he was Blippy. You act like I know Blippy. I don't care about Blippy. I don't ever watch Blippy. Ever. Never in my life.
And my kids are over it too, so no one's watching it. So we're fighting about something no one watches.
Well, I do agree with you, though. Switch up your tone or, do a dance. Hey! Do anything to get someone's attention before you expect their attention. And I know that's sort of rude to not hear somebody when they're talking to you, but my inner voice is way louder than your speaking voice. That's the truth. So if I'm reading some shit and I'm like, World Baseball Classic is heating up right now. Mexico clobbered the U.S. And I'm reading this story. That voice in my head is way loud. So I'm not hearing you. Oh, wait, what? And that's how kids, I'm a little baby boy is what it is. So Kyle, what's up? Wes, what's up? John, Lynn, everybody, what's up? Hope you enjoyed the Oscars. I barely watched because I was in the middle of a stressful situation. Tell you about that, but I hope you had a great weekend. Our weekend started off fantastic.
Well, the Oscars last night, I watched not that I turned it on at the best time, but I was trying to record my Pulse voice tracks for this morning, and I knew I couldn't do the morning show on the Pulse today without mentioning who won Best Picture. So I was just sitting in the office here waiting to record my shit. I was like, all right, are the Oscars almost over? I Googled like list of Oscar winners, and I realized they hadn't done Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Picture yet. So I was like, oh, let me turn it on. And I happened to catch the 3 big ones in order at the end. I'm like, oh, perfect timing. And then I went back and I watched Jamie Lee Curtis's speech and Jimmy Kimmel's opening. And I'm like, I think I watched the Oscars in 15 minutes, and that's all I need to watch.
By the way, congratulations to the both of you.
Why?
Because we all 3 of us won an Oscar, according to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, yes. We won an Oscar. I loved when she won. She was like, no way. So Jamie Lee Curtis.
Her dad, Cowboy Curtis, must be so proud.
Is that who she was referring to when she said my dad won an Oscar?
Yeah.
Or was nominated?
Cowboy Curtis.
Cowboy Curtis. But
Either Tony Curtis or Cowboy Curtis, I forget.
Ki Hu Kwan, Jamie Lee Curtis, Brendan Fraser, Michelle Yeoh, and everything everywhere all at once.
EEAAO.
I think the one takeaway was that for the last month, all I kept hearing in the pop world was, who's going to win for Best Original Song? Was it Gaga for Top Gun or Rihanna for Black Panther? And so nobody won and beat them both. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm sure they're fine. They'll be okay.
I'm glad. See, that's the thing about Oscars. You know, Gaga performed. So is it a setup? You think, is it a setup? She's there. She's performing. So is she going to win? The answer is no. Then Harrison Ford presents, the winner for Best Picture of the Year. And you're like, is this a setup? Because he's going to present it to Ki Hee Kwan and the Everything Everywhere All at Once crew. Very nice moment. Huge moment. But our weekend started. What's up, Spot?
I said, did you see him run up and kiss Harrison Ford?
Yeah, I called Covino thinking that, like, even if you don't watch the Oscars, maybe Covino caught the final award. And I was like, yeah, how cool is that? He's like, what? I said...
Well, I knew he had won.
He had won, but...
I'm sorry, Ki Hee had won.
When you had watched the final award, and you're like, Harrison Ford's presenting? What a shame if Ki Hee Kwan can't go up there. And when they announced Harrison Ford... Now presenting, Harrison Ford. As he's walking out, they do a close-up of Ki Hee Kwan. He's standing ovation, going like, oh, yeah, like going nuts. And then they embraced. And
Dr. Jones.
It was a cool moment.
Okie dokie, Dr. Jones. Hold on to your potatoes.
It was a cool moment. And
by the way,
again,
isn't he the host of Blue's Clues?
Yeah, he was. No, dude, it was Blippy. If you want to watch the Oscars in 10 minutes.
Too, that what was it? Steven Spielberg was also up for an award. So it's like I know that the tender moment was between him and Ki Kwan, but it's like Harrison Ford probably worked with everybody that was in the Best Picture category.
No, that is true, Spot.
Fuck Steven Spielberg.
But if you want to watch the Oscars,
he's won enough.
Instead of watching it for 4 hours and the pregame and the red carpet, all you need to do, watch Jamie Lee Curtis, Ki Hee Kwan, Brendan Fraser, Michelle Yeoh, and when Harrison Ford presents. That's it takes 15 minutes of your time.
I'd like to say you created something revolutionary, but basically you said watch the Best Supporting Actor and Actress, watch the Best Actor and Actress, and the Best Picture. That's all you really need to know from the Academy Awards.
But I'm saying that's of a 6-hour experience for all those, especially women, let's be honest, that watch like the red carpet, the build-up, the lead-up, they have Oscar parties. It's like a 6-hour deal, and I promise you, the last 15 minutes is all you needed. And if
We
you
all
want to
agree
watch
that-
the monologue, Kimmel was all right. Kimmel was,
he was
Had a-
very lackluster. Can we all agree that the super close up on Lady Gaga was very awkward? Did you watch that?
super close up
Before she-
on Gaga.
So before she performed, he introduced herself and talked about the song. And like she was sitting on a stool, but the camera was basically in her nose.
Oh, I think I did
And she
see a
knows
weird
what's up.
close up. Yeah.
It was weird. Yeah, well, you have to watch it back. Sorry, I watched the whole thing.
I didn't watch really any of it because, again, I had some other shit going on. But I was happy to hear about who won. It was an underdog story. As Short Round said, please never give up on your dreams. Because it's an amazing story.
Oh.
Hollywood gave up on Brendan Fraser. A year ago, people were making fun of this guy. Like, what happened to that guy? No one would have predicted George of the Jungle, Encino Man, would be nominated, let alone win.
Well, that's like saying no one ever pictured the guy from Bachelor Party would win 20 Oscars.
Get
in the
out of
90s.
here, dude. That guy was fucking like kicked out of Hollywood, basically. Everyone, anytime you saw him on social media, was like, look how fat and ugly he got. What happened to Brendan Fraser? That was everybody on social media leading up to this.
As Jimbo Kimbo pointed out, Brendan Fraser won. Same with Ki Kwan. So it's a really rough night for Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
Because aren't they all in Biodome together or Encino Man or one of? Didn't they all?
Encino Man.
Yeah,
They were
all
in
three of
Encino
them were
Man
Encino
together.
Man together. Yeah.
Yeah. But he put some nice stuff out there publicly. It was like, go get it, we saw. Rooting for you. Rooting tootin'. Buffing the wood. Weasel. So
Yeah.
he was happy about it, as he should be.
I mean, like John saying, I don't know anyone that's ever had an Oscar party. Do you ever met a woman in your life? I mean, I never had an Oscar party, but you don't think that
I've never known of anyone that I knew to have an Oscar party.
You don't think? I mean, yeah, you do. We've worked with women, makeup women. Like I've even like when we were at ESPN, I remember the girls talk about someone going to an Oscar party. Like
No,
women,
meaning like I'm having people over. I don't.
oh yeah, it's a big deal. People definitely do that.
I'm sure they do. I mean, I know they do. I'm just saying I don't know anybody that does.
I mean, it's not a
I had an
Super Bowl
Oscar
party.
Mayer party. It was all wieners.
That's what you. That's just the way you like it, right, Spotty?
I know Spotty's favorite part of Everything Everywhere All at Once. Well,
I haven't seen it yet.
well, there's a whole hot dog hand penis scene and dildos and stuff.
Yeah,
So
my
anyway,
favorite part. Thanks.
You know what? The guy that won.
you're the one that brought up wieners.
The guy that won Best Picture. I guess the director of or the when they accept the award for Best Picture, who does the speech? Is that the director or writer or who would be the main
It's
guy?
usually the producer.
The producer. Well,
The directors accept if they win for best director.
the shorter Asian fella that hopped on.
He's one of the directors.
One of the directors said something I thought it went under the radar because more people are concerned about Jamie Lee Curtis saying, "No way." He said these movies take years to make and the world's moving very fast and these pictures take a year or so to finish, start to finish. And you know what? It did make me think. All of us, we watched the transition when we were little kids. Yeah, baby. Yeah, transition. We saw that transition too. But we saw the transition when we were kids of if you were on television, it was weak. And you had to be a movie star. TV stars were the tier below movie stars, right? Like it was like movie star way below that TV star. And that's why like Tom Hanks was a crossover. Michael J. Fox at one time was like, well, what's more impressive? Family Ties or no. He's a movie star. Back to the Future. And that was always the deal back in the day. Wasn't Robin Williams like, well, he's a TV guy, Mork and Mindy. If you were on TV, you weren't a movie star. It was the difference. And then it was like, over the last 20 years, right? Like you do both if you're a big star. Like Bryan Cranston could be the most talented guy in the world, but he's doing a show. I'm convinced that they'll always be there because I'm sure the Oscars won't go away. But good series have completely replaced movies in our book.
No question.
Think about every weekend when you were dating or had a girlfriend.
I can't sit there too.
You rented a movie. How many weekend after weekend after weekend for years and years and years of your life, you watched movies with your buddies or a girlfriend?
As much as I liked Everything and Everywhere All at Once, I didn't love it. I did think Short Round Data, Ki Kwan was great in it.
watching
And
a
Michelle
movie.
Yeoh was great in it. I thought there was a lot of great moments. It was a great movie. It was just too long. You know, and I don't have that attention span.
Watching a movie is like I'm telling you, I know that this weekend's a bad example because 2 movies did really well. Did you see Scream 6? The Jenna Ortega Effect made $44 million at the box office, and Creed 3 made $27 million. So they were both slaying it. So the reality is 2 good movies in the theater, but again, they're sequels. There's no way people watch movies the way they used to. Right now, Covino, over the weekend, you probably watched the Malaysian flight documentary. Someone probably watched a comedy special.
Shit's boring.
You probably watched a new episode of Last of Us. The Ted Lasso starts in 2 days. Like, we care about TV shows. No one gives a shit about movies unless it's Top Gun. Unless it's fucking Top Gun or Black Panther or like one of these huge, as Spot says, unless it's a comic book Marvel Universe type of thing or Top Gun, you're way more inclined to watch some TV show streaming on Hulu.
I'll drink to that.
Drink to that.
We just don't have the attention span for it.
I don't even know if COVID did it, Wes. I mean, I think that just accelerated
I
it.
think we just an hour hit here, hour hit there. Just the feeling of a series, character development. You get to know the character. I mean, that's a major part of it. How well do you know the character? Isn't that your Brad Pitt World War Z story?
Which, by the way, is on Netflix. It's like trending.
Isn't that
but yeah, it is. It's like
it was a great movie, but no one cares. You're watching this guy in a 2-hour form, right? You're not really cared about you're not caring about the character. But The Walking Dead, you get to know Rick Grimes and all these people in the movie. Daryl Dixon on the show.
In fact, that's streaming right now, like I said, on Netflix. World War Z was a good movie. Brad Pitt's great. Fantastic. But 2 hours versus The Last of Us, which was awesome last night. What a great finale. And you tell me the character development with that girl and Pedro Pascal, you're trying to tell me that's not way more impressive than a 2-hour Brad Pitt movie?
Yeah, you get more invested. You get to know these people, the characters, what they're about.
And even last night's episode alone was like a movie.
Yeah, it's just we've changed our expectations, I guess, what we want out of entertainment. But that MH370 documentary about the Malaysian flight that disappeared, first episode was dope. Next 2, I was like falling asleep.
Thanks for telling me that.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I fell asleep like 3 times and I'm like, yo, is it me? Or like,
it's boring.
Okay, because I was like,
this is boring. It's a crazy story. First episode was really good. Watch the first episode. That's it.
What do you think happened, by the way? What is your conclusion now? Pilot shot down.
Don't know. I really don't know.
Guess we'll never know.
Guess we don't know.
There's still a place for movies. It's just
Was
not
a
what
mass
it was.
Suicide? I don't know.
It was just
Was Russia involved? I don't know.
it's just movies. So yeah, you know what? I'm glad you said it because even shitty documentaries, you're more inclined to watch the murder.
That shit was great.
Murders. Like, you're more inclined to watch 3 episodes about some fucking creepy murdering family than you are to watch, the new
Everything Everywhere All at
new
Once.
random movie. Yeah.
And that's a good action movie. It's worth the watch for sure. It's about like a parallel universe.
Yeah, what do you rather watch? White Lotus or a fucking movie at the theater? Come on.
I watched the Murdoch murders on the plane ride. Oh,
Piece of garbage.
Yeah, Spot. Did that first episode make you fucking want to cry too with that fucking poor girl?
I cried. Not in that episode 1. I cried like most of episode 2.
Dude, it was
Like,
was tough.
I was sitting on the plane, crying my eyes out.
Yeah, it was a tough one. It was a tough one.
So hard to watch.
yeah.
So a weekend of entertainment, movies, Oscars, finales, The Last of Us.
You know what got me pumped up? I watched last night. I recommend everyone do this. There's a guy that you might think you hate, but I feel like after a while you don't hate him.
Who?
Me. No. You ever see that guy that does the
That was
TV
my answer.
the TV show recaps? He's like, "Hey, it's me, TV recap show guy with another," and he has like a tuxedo T-shirt on.
I don't know.
I fucking love that guy because I watched like a 12-minute Ted Lasso seasons 1 and 2 recap just to give a little refresher. And if you do that, I guarantee you'll be pumped for season 3 because I'm like, oh shit, that's right. And oh, that's right. That guy, Spot, I know you're working remote in Jersey, and you can tell people in a little bit why you're there. But can you find this guy like with the tuxedo T-shirt? Am I the only guy that knows him? Every time, if you want to be like Walking Dead season 5 recap, it's always the same guy that has hundreds of thousands of views, where it's a dude that voices it over sarcastically, and he wears like a tuxedo T-shirt. You don't know this guy?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Not sure I want to know.
Maybe you don't want to watch
But
it.
if he's good, I'll take your word for it.
Guy, huh?
Yeah, recap guy. Oh, well, anyway. It's the age of TV shows and documentaries. That's it.
That's it. That's it. Rich is right. We've been saying that a long time. I told you I can't watch these movies. No interest. You know, Drew Mack keeps hitting me up about what's called Bullet Train with Brad Pitt on Netflix.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I know it looks cool and visually, I know it's fast paced and looks good. I just can't fucking sit down and focus on that for 2 hours. I can't. Can you tell me it's a 1 hour something else? I'll watch that shit.
But it's very, if you liked, well, I mean, I haven't seen everything everywhere all at once, but it is that fast pace, like almost.
Yeah, but even that spot, I got to be honest, I was a little bored with it, even though it was really good. It won the Academy Award last night. Yeah, I was a little like at the end, I'm like,
What you were more interested in? You're
like
more interested in last night's episode of The Last of Us.
No question.
Which was so good.
No question.
You know what else is really getting good? I'm a little behind, but a lot of good feedback from you guys saying good suggestion. I didn't make the show. I just watch it. But Shrinking on Apple TV with Jason Segel. So good. Harrison Ford. Fantastical.
How about that guy?
His nose got more crooked as he got older. That old Harrison
He's
Ford.
definitely old.
He's 183 years old.
Oh, by the way,
yeah.
I had a thought and I was going to text you two yesterday. Why, given his track record, and I mean, it was a very special moment because
Usain Bolt?
of who, what?
Oh, I thought you were talking
Oh,
about
your track record with Tyreek Hill or Usain Bolt?
No, my track record, 20-minute mile. It's, obviously because of who was lost this year, it made sense. But why would they trust John Travolta with giving a very heartfelt opening
So sad.
to the In Memoriam?
That was so sad. I saw that clip too. Yeah, he stumbled his
very
words,
sad.
but he was really
broke
emotional.
down.
His stumbling of his words and fumbling and mumbling are almost overlooked because he was so emotional.
He was so emotional, so it made sense. Like the fact that he, because it
He was hopelessly devoted
Olivia Newton.
to all of
Yeah,
them.
Olivia Newton-John was the first,
Yeah, sad.
but still, like, why would you? I was thinking that I'm like, oh no, like, oh no.
The wickedly awesome.
And I gotta be honest, I don't know if it was the song choice or if it was Lenny Kravitz, but it didn't connect with me. I feel like Lenny didn't bring it.
Leonard Kravitz.
Leonard Kravitz.
How can he be
didn't
the
do it for
coolest
me.
guy? His name's Leonard Kravitz.
Well, all you need to know is that Everything and Everywhere All at Once won 7 out of 11 nominated categories: Best Picture, Best Director, and 3 acting nods. And the only reason I gave a shit at all was because Short Round won. No one gave a shit about that super talented little Asian kid that we grew up with until now. And Brendan Fraser. Very happy to hear that. He I don't know, found it again. You know, guy was in a bad place.
Hey, Spot,
up
you must
winning.
have leaned on a button or something, Spot.
What happened?
We're getting that echo back again.
Oh, I'll fix it.
Yeah, stop fiddling there.
There's something on the wing. There's no way to possibly talk when you hear an echo of your own voice. Oh, there it goes. It's gone. 2 seconds behind you.
Well, hope you had a nice weekend. Wanted to start with Friday, and it was an amazing moment.
Oh, dude.
Because it was raining out, and I got to tell you, I know Rich was pumped, but when I woke up and it was raining and I was tired, I'm like, man, I don't want to see Billy Joel tonight. Just not feeling it. But I would never say that because I don't want to bring anyone else's hype or vibe down. And Rich was like super pumped. I was like, man, I should have said no 2 months ago when we bought the tickets. I was not feeling it. But I knew that when I was there, I'd probably have a good time. So it's rainy out. We all carpool. We get there. We have a good time.
Well,
and
hold
most
on.
miraculous thing happens
But
before I even
hold
tell you
on.
about the show.
Before you even get to the miraculous Billy Joel, Stevie Nicks adventure, I gotta say, I'm not one to get frustrated in traffic. I'm a pretty hey, like, I'm not a road ragey type of guy. I get frustrated, but I'm like, SOCKS, it is what it is. But let me tell you, we got a babysitter to show up at 5 p.m. The concert started at 7. Babysitter got here at 5. Hey, here's a little dinner to make the kids. Here's the remote. You know how to work the TV. Everything's good. All right, the kids' stuff is there. Peace out. It took us from my house to SoFi Stadium where the Rams and Chargers play, which is in Englewood. Whoop-de-whoop. 2 hours to get there.
And parking is Les
Fucking
Miserables.
absurd.
I got to tell you, man, I gave myself a pat on the
Miserable.
back because I sat in a car with Spot, Shannon, and his wife, Kristen, and all they did was complain the entire fucking ride. And Spot was so aggravated, he was screaming at the top of his lungs, making it awkward for everybody. Like in jest and funny, but he was really agitated and aggravated and totally understandable. But it's like, we're going to a concert. Keep your spirits up, everybody.
No.
Like I was already a little like,
Hell
man,
no.
it's shitty out.
No.
And
No.
and everyone was miserable,
No.
and I kept a smile on my
No.
face the whole time and didn't say a damn thing.
Listen
I'm
up,
not
Passenger
driving. I get
Princess.
it.
Listen up, passenger
Yeah, but
princess.
dude,
it's really nice.
Yeah,
to
but
be
we're going to a
calm.
concert. We're going to a
No,
concert.
it's really nice to be calm and collected when you're not the one that's driving in traffic in the rain in rush hour in LA, where no one knows how to drive already. Then you're layering on 2 extra things. It's very frustrating.
Well,
I
I
don't think
had
it was,
plenty of things to be frustrated
Spot.
about.
I don't think it was people don't know how to drive in LA. I think it was just rainy and a lot of cars, and it was fucking
Rush hour.
It was rush hour.
It's 5 o'clock.
And you know what I
We're
had to
driving
do?
to places we never drive.
Yeah, and
it was fucking annoying.
I made the kind mistake, and I'm glad I did it because it was the right nice move to do. But our friend Janet was coming with us to the concert, and she's like, "Hey, I'm on the way. Do you want to pick me up? I'm right off the 405." She works at UCLA. She works at the college, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, I'll pick you up. That's what friends do." But just Spot, even the 10-minute detour off the 405 to get her and then get back on the highway, I was like,
There's no such thing as right off the 405. Unless she's standing on the off ramp, there's no such thing.
Like Rich
as
when he
right
takes a
off the
quick
highway.
rinse. Like Rich's quick rinse.
yeah, there's no quick off the 405. So
5 minutes.
the funny part is,
take a quick rinse. Half hour later.
Guys.
the funny thing is, we drove separately, but we weren't near each other on the highway yet. Both our navigation said we were arriving at the same time, and believe it or not, we both had miserable 2-hour plus experiences. But we arrived within 5 minutes of each other.
We came from completely different directions too. Like I went down towards downtown LA, and you went down the 405, and we just met at the same point.
But we both left at 5, and it was like, meet you there. And like, I was like, what time's your GPS saying? 7:08? You're like, yeah, me too. Like, it was so odd that we both fucking showed up in the most miserable traffic at
I'm
the
not
same
sure
time.
you were as aggravated as Spot was. Spot was pretty aggravated, and I understand why. I do. It was
no
pretty
patience for
miserable.
people.
It's like a weird
I just
trapping
didn't want to
feeling.
add to the misery.
It's a weird trapped feeling where you're like,
Yeah.
you know, everyone's stopped behind you and in front of you.
Well-
Like, I'm just stuck here.
It's also, for me, it was like, I hate traffic, and like, especially when I have to be somewhere, but the rain really, like, LA is infrastructure is not made for rain. So like, there's puddles everywhere. Like the side of the highway is there's hydroplaning. Like everyone's just weaving in and out.
Yeah,
It's
like
hard
the
to
left
see.
lane's got flooding. And you know
Yeah.
what? I think you can wrap it up by saying we just don't have the infrastructure for it out here. And when you're in the rain, you're right. It's just that much more like aggravating. It's, you know, when my GPS, I'm sure like yours said 2 hours, was your first thought like, I'm never going to SoFi again? I was like, this is why I guess I've never been to a Rams game. I'm never going to SoFi in my life.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Especially,
Yeah. So,
like I
all right.
said, when everyone in the car was aggravated.
You know what? Let's stop. We're done bitching, but hey, that's one of the few downfalls of living in Los Angeles. When it's rainy and there's traffic, it really is like, oh man. At one point, I picked up Janet from UCLA and it said, oh, SoFi, 11 miles away. I'm like, 11 miles? 58 minutes? I'm like, 58 minutes? 11 miles. I'm like, is there a fucking little scooter around here? I'll just park my car here. Meet me.
Rich picked up Janet because I picked up Chrissy.
Oh, yeah. And then we went to the Regal Beagle.
We went to the Regal Beagle.
We got there and met Jack and Larry.
All right, so continue, Cove.
So, yeah, the ride there was miserable. And I was already, like, reluctant. But I knew I'd enjoy myself. So I'm like, do my best, put my smile on. And we get there, and this is what we call, what are the chances?
This is a little game called Destiny.
The chances. Think about SoFi Stadium. Think about how many people it seats. It's a football stadium, right?
This place seats over 50,000 people, and probably for the concert, I'd imagine there's 25,000+ people there.
Think of how many concession stands there are, but not just concession stands, the little ones, little carts and shit like that. Think of how many are there. I must have passed 100 of them just getting to my seat. No exaggeration.
That's it. By the way,
they're like every 10 feet.
What we saw is a newer trend in stadiums because they started doing these in the last few years where you don't have to wait for beer at the regular refreshment stand or the regular concession. It's like there's 6 coolers, like almost like you walk into a little mini 7-Eleven, but they're like little pop-ups where there's 5 fridges. You walk through, grab your drinks, like not self-checkout, but almost like you just go scan them and then give them your card.
A lot of concession
and
stands,
there's a
lot
lot
of bathrooms. That's what a new stadium's all about.
That's got to be the cool part of a new stadium. There's never a beer wait because they have all these little pop-ups.
Yeah. So think about that, right? All the people at all the concession stands. And would you believe? I tried to get a few drinks. No one stops. When I stop to get a drink, no one cares. People keep barreling through. Yeah, spots the only got to stop. I'm just trying to make a point. Like I tried to get a drink. Everyone fucking walked. Hey, who gives a fuck about that guy? Kept walking. All right, wait, hold on. So I'm trying to catch up. We passed so many concession stands. The one we decided to stop at, would you believe? Of all the concession stands, of all the people there,
would you
believe we get there and pick out my seltzer, getting a drink. I hear, is that Rich Davis? I turn around, like, oh, must be a fan. I'm like, oh, wow, it's our boss from Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah.
What are the chances? The guy that hired us, our boss is there. And then he's like, Covino, spot. Oh, fuck. Then he realizes we're all there.
Yeah.
He had no clue we were going, and we had no clue he was going. And he's probably been the most impactful guy in our life, aside from super agent Sean Wyman and our main boss. But this is the guy that was like, got to hire these guys.
Yeah.
And he's there, and we have a fucking powwow, bro hug. Yeah, man, fucking unbelievable. Think of the traffic. Think of the concession stands. Think of the people. Think of the timing. For us to be there at the same exact time, to be like, holy fuck. And keep in mind, we don't see him all the time.
The odds are astronomical.
It's so
the fact
odd.
that him and his wife strolled up at the same exact time at the concession stand where, like...
At a concert that I feel like we talked about going to, and he didn't even acknowledge.
We mentioned it. We didn't really harp on it. Like, we've mentioned it a few times.
Yeah. But it really is... The odds are... I told Covino, I go, if he was a girl, I would think it was like destiny. Like, I have to fuck him or something.
Yeah.
Like, you ever bump into...
you can still fuck him. Maybe we'll get a better
deal?
Well, there's so many factors involved of the coincidence.
Like, timing.
Like, yeah.
Meaning, like, you can walk up and then 2 minutes later, you can miss the person. Like, same exact moment, same concession stand. That's like the Decatur, Illinois story. Do you remember that story? I'm going to take you back. The year was 2008.
Tell me about it.
When I first met Sarah.
Stud.
I met her in Chicago. And this is our first real hang together. So this was bold of me.
We know the story. You brought a whole bag of smut.
It's not true. They were candles that happened to be also sexual wax. And Sarah's like, well, while I'm here in Chicago, on Saturday, I'm going to have to, I don't think I'll be able to see you all day on Saturday because I think I'm going to rent a car and go visit my grandma who lives in Decatur, which is, like a couple hours outside of Chicago. So I was bold enough to be like, yeah, we just met. I'm renting a car. I'm coming with you. So I went with Sarah and met her grandma. But the story is, on the way there, I stopped at like a podunk little gas station and had small talk with this dude that was like, yeah, I'm heading this direction. He was headed in the opposite direction. Let's just say we had a 2-second interaction like, hey, man, where are you headed? Oh, cool. All right, later. Probably 8 hours later, I was driving back to come home. Stopped at that same little podunk thing, and he happened to be stopping back at the same exact second. And I was like, yo, same dude? Yo, what's up, man? He's like, I'm coming back. And I was like, if that was a woman, I would have thought destiny.
Fate.
What's the chances?
Chances, I can't do the math, but because there's so many factors. Again, traffic, timing. You're late. We were late to the concert. All the choices of concession stands, the choice of seats, to even be in that situation.
Yeah. So just a wild beginning to the concert night, because we're like, wait a minute, yo, how wild. We just met our boss's wife, and there he is, and he's like sitting a couple sections away, and we're like, wow.
Walking up in the rain, Dreams was already being performed by Stevie Nicks, so we knew we had missed that song. And I was doing my best Ocean Spray dog face guy on my walk there. But, we sit down finally, and I'm pleasantly surprised to realize how many great songs Stevie Nicks has. And I know that sounds obvious because she's one of the legends, but I never really cared for Stevie Nicks. I just didn't. Didn't come from a Stevie Nicks family. At least I don't think so. My mom might like her, but I never really cared about her. And she was fantastic. I'll just leave it at that. Like, I was so not caring to see her. I was like, yeah, whatever. Let's get on. Let's see the Billy Joel thing. But she was great. Yeah, she came out there in her gypsy dress. She did her thing. She's 73 years old.
That was my takeaway. My takeaway was she's 73, Billy Joel 74. Imagine your parents who might be in their 70s. Imagine them on stage at a stadium.
Rocking
out and singing. And it's wild to think that they're still delivering at this age.
She did her Fleetwood Mac stuff. She did her solo stuff. And again, you remember, like, yeah, man, she's got songs for days, and that's why she's Stevie Nicks, and that's why people care. And really, she's more relevant now than Billy Joel is. A lot of kids today, probably because of social media, probably because Dogface put that shit back on the radar. Yeah. No, it's true. But kids are way more into Fleetwood Mac or Stevie Nicks than Billy Joel. There's no question.
Oh, yeah.
But then you sit there and you realize, man, she's got a lot of songs, and the band was great. So if you like live music, I don't care if you like Stevie Nicks or not, you would have enjoyed it. No question. Like, I was not bored, not even a little bit. Just having a drink, enjoying, hey, Stevie Nicks. I guess I could say I saw her. I had no intentions on seeing her, but she was really good.
That being said, you really did notice the talent differential when they did a duet together.
Oh,
when Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks did a duet together. I was like, what is this?
That was so awkward to me. And Covino thought the harmonies were fine. I looked it up online and I listened back because someone already posted it. I thought she was so off.
Yeah, it didn't sound like live. It sounded horrible.
Yeah, it sounded like
they did. And So It Goes.
And So It Goes. Yeah, one of Billy Joel's best ballads.
Right. And I was excited to hear him perform it. And when she came out, she ruined the experience.
She did. I'll be honest, she ruined that song. But you know what? Stevie Nicks, when she did Landslide, I got chills a little bit. I'll be honest. When she closed with Landslide, I was like, ooh, that was nice. Like, that was a great one.
She turned that into a tribute to Christine McVie, which was really nice. And she broke down at the end. Just she got really emotional, so that was nice to see.
Yeah,
it was just it wasn't
nice to see, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it was a cool performance, and like Lynn says, I never really cared for Stevie Nicks much myself. That doesn't mean I didn't like some Fleetwood Mac songs here and there. There's one song that's on the tip of my tongue I can't think of right now, but like, oh yeah, that's a great song. I forgot about that. But it was nice to see, and I could say I saw her, and it was great.
I'll be honest, Landslide and Edge of 17 were the two I was looking forward to. And I was like, those are the two big hits. She played them both. We walked in while she was doing the Ocean Spray guy song.
I like Rihanna's is is it her song or is that a Fleetwood Mac song? I think that's her song. I like that song. And Stand Back. It's like her 80s hits.
Oh yeah, Stand Back's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, it was a good one. Stevie Nicks, thumbs up. Now, I had seen Billy Joel like a good Long Island boy, at least 5 times in my life. But I'm surprised.
Go Your Own Way was pretty dope.
I was surprised that Covino, who always had the same admiration for Billy Joel I did, always put Billy Joel above Bruce Springsteen.
Not the same.
Not as much as I love him. But
because I don't like. We didn't start the Fire and On and River of Dreams and On.
Well,
I liked late 70s, early 80s Billy Joel.
Well, there's like 3 good later Billy Joel songs. Spot will disagree with me on River of Dreams. I love River of Dreams, but Spot hates it.
Hate that song.
All right, well, you know what? All good. I love it. But
so
there's 2 other great songs from the later stuff like Stormfront and all that.
But I love the older Billy Joel.
and
So we both love him, in
Yeah.
different ways.
No, but I love most of his older stuff. But And So It Goes, Spot, that's a later song too. That's also off that later album.
Yeah.
And also Downeaster Alexa, which he didn't do, but that's also a good song. Downeaster Alexa, you can't argue.
Downeaster Alexa, I actually do really like that song.
Yeah, so he has some good later stuff. But again, later stuff for Billy Joel is 30 years ago in the 90s. So it was your first time seeing him, Covino. So what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, and I thought to myself, another bucket list I could item I can cross off. This is great. And then I just immediately thought, man, for 74, fucking unbelievable.
When you see his hands on the close-up on the piano,
his little shriveled
old man, like nubby fingers, you're like, how is that guy playing the piano with those old nubby fingers? How is he the best?
Nubby nose too.
What's up?
He's got an old nubby nose too.
Yeah, I'm like, how does Billy Joel's old nubby fingers fucking play ridiculous, like only they could die young, like pretty wild.
Piano Man got out there and did his thing, and he started off with a joke. I'm trying to find it. He said he had good news and bad news. Bad news: I have no new songs to play for you tonight. Good news: I have no new songs to play for you tonight.
Yeah,
That's great.
And we're like, sweet. So we're gonna hear the hits. And remember, when you're co-headlining, because it was like a co-headlining Stevie Nicks thing, he didn't have as much time to play his full-on catalog.
Yeah, that was the only bummer. The only bummer about Stevie Nicks is that we were robbed of maybe 5+ Billy Joel songs. Because I've seen him at the Garden, and it's what we saw plus like 5+ more. So, but you know what? It was cool to see Stevie Nicks.
I know my sisters saw him at the Garden, and they talked about it and loved it. And it's quite the experience. But to see Billy Joel, he's out there in his dad jeans, doing his fucking thing, the piano man. These songs are just so ingrained in our lives. They're like, it's just like I don't even know how to put it, like an American standard at this point.
If you grew up on the East Coast specifically,
songs
though,
are so legendary and deeply ingrained to the soundtrack.
But even more so if you're a tri-state area kid. There was one spot, there was a song he played that I had never heard him do in concert, and I know the song, but I don't think most people do. It's just a fantasy. I was like, that, and
Rich loves Zanzibar.
Zanzibar is a rando song. I mean, I like Zanzibar.
That was the weakest.
Zanzibar is a great song,
That
but
was his weakest
it
song.
went on too long because he had like guys doing solos and shit.
That shit was
Rich has a
corny.
tab at Zanzibar.
Yeah, I jokingly
At
said.
Zanzibar.
I jokingly said to our boss, who was, again, he was blown away that we ran into each other there. And I was like, who knew that Rich knew every word to Zanzibar? But, it was a sing-along, man. It was great. It was song after song, hit after hit. The guy's a hit machine. Billy Joel has so many great songs.
Hey.
It was cool to see, and I'm glad to say I saw him before it was too late. But I got to tell you, the one thing that stood out to me is you're rooting for the old guy and the old woman here. She's 73. Stevie Nicks is 73. Billy Joel's 74. Now, on our ride, Spot had one moment of non-aggravation.
Me
Right.
yelling at other cars.
Right. We were listening to Billy Joel.
Yeah.
We were listening to Billy Joel, and he made the point, and we both commented on, I don't know if Billy Joel's going to sing this one. I doubt he could hit that note. And it was, I am an innocent man. Oh, yes, I am. Right?
Yeah, I'm like, he's not going to hit that note. This old guy can't do that.
So he gets up for this one, and he says, he's not sure if he could hit this note, but he's going to go for it. And he tells all these jokes, right?
I was gonna say he said like when I made this song 30, I didn't think I'd be performing it.
Yeah,
30
40 years later. Yeah.
It was at a time. It was like he said, this was the time that I put away the high notes.
And the
'Cause
fact
he was in his
that
early 30s.
yeah, oh
and
yeah,
this is it.
and he did it, and the fact that everyone was rooting for him too made it that much better.
And every
when
time he
did
hit
it.
the high note, everyone's like, yeah.
And you're like, oh shit. Like I never even really liked that song that much until I saw him do it live, and he nailed those notes. So to see him come out and have his encore and play his hits and still rock and roll to me.
Oh,
and
you were
Big Shot
you were
and
waiting
all
for
those.
Big Shot, and I was happy to see that he closed with that one.
Yeah, that shit was dope. Super dope. So I was glad I went. Again, what's the lesson learned here? Sometimes you got to push yourself forward. I felt a little reluctant about it. The weather was ass. It was rainy out. We were told it was going to be partially covered. We were completely covered, but it was still rainy. You got to walk from the fucking parking lot, which is 5 miles away, to the venue. But it was
by the
great.
way,
Great time. I had a really great time.
thank you, by the way, Spot, for sending me the link to that parking garage, because it costs $90 to park, like 5 blocks away. If I would have not asked you and just said, "Oh, let me park general parking," I think it was $250 to park. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Insane.
And Spot the whole ride. This is why I don't go out. This is why I don't like to do things. I'll turn this car around. God damn it.
I was such a grumpy old man in the car.
It was funny.
I had such a great time at the concert.
Yeah.
It was like a fucking sing along. It was so great.
It is a sing along.
That being said, well, the one thing that annoyed me, the one thing during, or at least at the end of the show, Rich pulled the dad move,
Yeah, he did.
and was like, "Let's leave before the song."
During the one
over.
song I wanted to hear.
Yeah, but it was the
During
last
the
30
one
seconds of the song.
And I'm
No.
like, first of all, we didn't have to leave with Rich.
You didn't have Spot. I didn't ask you. By the way, you guys all follow my lead, so this is not on me. I said
why. I was yelling at everybody. I'm like, why are you leaving? I want to see the song. We came in separate cars.
No, exact Spot. Exactly. I said, all right, we told our babysitter we'd be back like 11 something. Our babysitter's
stupid.
our babysitter's $30 an hour. Sarah said we'll be back like 11:30 midnight. It was already like 11:15, so Sarah had to tell the babysitter like, "Yeah, can you stay an extra hour?" And
That's on you.
I said,
because
well, hold on.
the show was going to go
Bro.
till 11.
Bro, I didn't tell anyone to come with me. I said, "Yo, this is the last song. It was the last stanza. I've seen him do it because I've seen Billy Joel at the Garden. A lot of times he'll close out with Big Shot." And I was like, "All right, cool. We heard most of the song. Yo, I'm going to start walking down the stairs because if getting out of the parking garage is going to take me an extra half hour, then I just want to boom, get out of there." And yeah, I saw everyone follow me. I'm like, you guys don't have to, but you guys were all laughing and singing and walking out of there. I realized that Covino, how Covino always says he doesn't have female friends? I noticed something on Friday that Covino must be in denial. Shannon's your friend. You guys get along really well, and she might be your first girlfriend.
I've had lots of girlfriends.
No.
Not people like chat on the phone with hours like you do.
No, but
you act like I didn't have coworkers or people along the way that I was friends with. Shannon's my friend.
yeah, but I feel like you guys get along like real well.
She's great.
Like you were like Covino was in like really silly mood, and I love
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I
Covino
was having fun watching Billy Joel drinking. So it was great. And
we started doing the math on refreshments. There were $20 personal pizzas, and I was like, Spot, if 5,000 people bought personal pizzas, that's 6 figures. And then Covino's like, well, what about Covino got the tall boy seltzer, and he's like, this was $20. And I'm like, so if 10,000 people got 2 of those, I was like, you're talking about $1 million this concession stand is making.
Yeah, I had 2 of those as well, Spotty.
So if you got Spot, if you spent
just on that.
if every person there spent $20 to $40 on refreshments, that's why Aramark and these companies stay in business, huh? You're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars easily in refreshments.
Easily. I had 2 pizzas.
And by the way, Kevin Bush has the right idea. This was my plan. He goes, 9th inning of a Mets game. He'll stand in view of the field. I would do that too. If I'm in like section 120 something, Kevin, I'll get up. I'll go to the back of the field level, peek through, and I'm like, all right, and strike 3, game over. Out. That's the way to do it. So I got out of there a smidge early, but my big pet peeve. Can I give you my pet peeve?
Sure.
You didn't
is
see
it from-
this. Sarah said it was awkward. I promise you it wasn't.
Did I do it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I know it involves people singing. But you got to remember, Billy Joel's very much a sing-along.
No.
It
was.
It was a huge sing along.
Agreed.
It was.
Agreed.
For good reason. These
said-
songs mean a lot to people.
I said something to the guy behind me. And I picked a poor time because I picked when Covino went to get a drink. So like I should have picked a moment when like my bud was next to me. So I wasn't so like
Yeah, but
alone.
I heard those guys singing the whole time. And they were loud.
There was
I'll
one
back you up
guy
on that.
spot.
But it didn't
There was
bother
one
me.
fat drunk guy behind us,
People
right?
having fun don't
No,
bother me.
and I said,
I
listen,
didn't even see him.
I said have fun. But I did say to his buddy, I go, yo, can you tell your buddy to cool it on like the ballads? Like if he's singing along to Piano Man or Uptown Girl, that's one thing. But this guy was like, when Billy Joel's singing like, and so it goes, and this guy's like, and so it goes. I was like, and he's like, yeah, he's just having fun. I go, I know, I don't want to be a buzzkill, but he's like, there's a difference between singing and screaming. This guy at times, Covino, we were singing.
Loud. He was
we were
loud.
singing. This guy's spot was like, you might have been like, Uptown Girl. This guy was like, Uptown. Like he was screaming.
He was very proud that he knew more words than we did, for sure. I was pretty impressed. I was like, man, this fucking guy knows even the weakest songs.
And by the way, someone said we glazed over the $250 to park. Even Rich's discount garage. Yeah, the discount garage spot got $90.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine, I usually take the train to the game when I would go to Mets games or Knicks games or anything in New York. Here in LA, I do know that if you go to a Lakers game, it's like $40 to park. But yeah, like 90, 100, 200. Football games, that's why when people buy season tickets or you buy tickets to a football game, you have to buy parking passes. When we went with Jaime and Gabe and all the guys up in San Francisco, Mauser, we had to buy the parking ahead of time because otherwise it would have been a few $100s. I don't know how they could get away with it, but I guess they just do it and say, fuck it. What are you going to do? Not park?
Yeah.
But
Well, that's why I mean, and LA is working on mass transit to the game, but the infrastructure is not there.
And
yet.
by the way, one thing you forgot is how much we paid for the actual tickets. It was over two bills.
Oh, was it? I forget. What was it?
For one ticket, and it was we had the weakest seats.
Actually,
but I only bring that up because
Shannon wanted to get weaker seats, and I go, quick compromise and get the middle
these
section.
Seats were fucking weak.
Yeah.
But it's a true testament to how good they really were, especially Billy Joel, because it really didn't bother me much. I was able to see on the screens. I got the vibe of the show. I could see
I paid
the
to
stage.
watch. I paid to watch a TV hanging from the ceiling.
Pretty
of the
much for $250. But that's
With
how
live sounds.
great they are and how good it was. It really didn't bother me even a little bit.
No, you know what? I've
But
seen
the
him.
seats were terrible.
When I've seen him at the Garden, I've been pretty close, like first section over, like right. I've been close up, and to be honest, the experience I had with you, it wasn't like way different. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it was fun.
Singing along with Covino
Plus,
and having fun.
Rich was fucking 3 sheets to the wind. Now, he was high. Rich was high as hell.
Yeah, I had a little buzz going.
Were you?
I had a buzz early on, and then it waned and faded by the end. But no, in the beginning, I was like, "Ooh, I'm feeling buzzing."
Buzzing, buddy.
So
That's why he loves Zanzibar so much.
now Brett brings up a great point.
Which is a corny
Yeah,
ass
Rich.
song.
Did you or the drunk guy behind you know more words than Zanzibar?
Rich, man.
That's how I knew Zanzibar was not that popular because he stopped singing.
Rich was like, Zanzibar.
Oh no, that's Zanzibar.
Shit's the weakest. That song's corny.
It was, I'll be honest. He did this at Madison Square Garden a few of the times I saw him. He brings out like his opera friend to do some beautiful song, but all I kept thinking was like, this is a song that is replacing a song we all want to hear.
What song made you the most emotional? Had to be.
And so it goes, but it was ruined by
you
Stevie
realize-
Nicks. I love that song.
Oh, really?
And so it
You
goes. I
realize
play every
they
morning.
do
Like
that?
I play that part of like my chill mix. It's one of my favorite
Sorry.
songs ever.
He does that so he could take a vocal break.
Yeah.
No, I know.
yeah.
I know. No, you're right.
Like he can't be singing constantly for 2 hours.
Yeah, all concert tickets are getting crazy. TJ hit us up saying he paid $212 to see Eric Church. Ubering would be more than parking because Ubering would have been $100 or so each way.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Someone brought up a good question. Oh, what are the rules on singing along and standing? You can't get mad at someone for standing. It's a concert. I think you could, if someone's spilling beer on you because they're being like the clumsy drunk, like, hey, then you could be like, yo, my guy, take it easy. Take it easy.
My guy.
But you agree, Spot, that there is a difference between singing along and screaming, right?
I mean, you can't.
All right, ready? Singing along. Uptown girl, she been living in her white bread world. Screaming. Like, we're talking, this guy was like, Uptown girl. Like,
It's not like
yo,
you're at like the Troubadour. You're at a open air football stadium.
I know.
So it's like
Sarah squeezed my arm, and I'm like, Sarah, I assessed it. He was like a 5'8", chubby 20-something-year-old guy that was, I don't know why he even liked Billy Joel. He's 20-something. But I was like, he wasn't a confrontational-looking dude, but he was clearly like 6 seltzers in. So I was like, I told his friend in the kindest way, like, yo, can you just tell your brother to cool it a little bit on like the ballads or something at least? He's like, all right.
Maybe his parents were huge Billy Joel fans, and this is his way of connecting to an older generation.
You just don't want to get in you don't want to ruin the night of backstreet guy like Rich.
Yeah.
Backstreet guy.
So anyway, the
a
point
backdoor
is,
guy.
shitty tickets, still a good time. The end.
Well,
That
I
was
mean,
Friday.
you know what? If you want a good ticket, you know how much good tickets were?
No, but they were shitty tickets.
No, trust me. We were in the 300 section.
Yeah, they were $300.
Yeah, no, they were $250 or something maybe.
Not $250. Yeah.
Shannon said, "Well, we could get the uppers," and they were like 100 something. I was like, "Well, I really don't want to sit in the fucking top deck." I don't know. I was like, to be honest, I'd rather pay the extra. You know, how often do you get to go out? Right?
So Billy Joel ran into our boss. Crazy coincidence. Good time. The Oscars, skipped right to that. Amazing. Last of Us finale was great. I'm having a hard time.
We do need a cool it on the ballads t-shirt.
Cool it on the ballads.
And
I'm having a
so
hard
it
time
goes.
processing that we watched 9 episodes of that show. Like episode 3 was the gay episode that we talked about, right?
Yeah,
With Nick
Armand and Nick Offerman.
That was episode 3. Man, did you see episode 3? It was like a little mini movie. What did that have to do with anything? It was great though. Episode 3, wow.
You know what that means? 6 weeks have passed.
So I mean, like 6. We watched 6 more episodes of that show since then.
Yeah, but if you put it in perspective,
was
that's
6
they're
weeks
weekly.
ago?
That means
Yeah, I know. I'm having a hard time processing that because I'm like, there's no way. You want to know what I said to Jordan? I'm like, Jordan, great show, huh? I'm like, sucks that it was only 6 episodes though. That's the season, 6 episodes. She's like, I think it was 9. Like, no way. I'm like, I must have skipped 2 episodes. How did we watch 9 episodes of that? I don't know. Just hard to process for me. So great show. I'm excited about it. Pedro Pascal's a treasure, and his chemistry with this little Gonzo-like girl is fantastic. Love it.
she is. And by the way, last night's episode, not giving anything away, just some of the backstory, some of everything that went down on last night's episode to me was perfect. I looked at Sarah and said, "Yo, how great was that show?"
Oh, it was really good.
And here's what I'm reading. All of, let's see, all the Last of Us Season 2 news we've heard so far. Last of Us first season has come to an end, but there's more Joel and Ellie's story to be told. Let's see. We don't know when Season 2 will arrive. Then why'd you write an article about it?
You know, it was kind of cool.
I'm guessing next year, because remember, like Game of Thrones would take multiple
They
years?
haven't even started filming yet.
Jesus Christ.
So the girl that played Ellie's mom in last night's episode, I knew she looked familiar. She is the original voice of Ellie in the video game The Last of Us in 2013. And I'm like, I know that loghead. I know that face. I'm pretty sure I'm right. And she was the young daughter from Growing Pains. So the girl that played Ellie's mom last night, who gave birth to Ellie, was the original voice to Ellie. So that was a cool little nod to the game. But she was also the girl from Growing Pains, Chrissy or whatever the fuck her name was. I forget. But the little annoying daughter. So she's all grown up now. Great show. Really dope. Pedro Pascal's the guy.
That show is awesome. Ted Lasso's back Wednesday. New episodes of You. Did you start that yet or no?
Yeah.
I did not.
I'm one in, and I was bored by it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But I heard that part 2 of the season
really
is
good.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so-
I'm sure it picks up. So why did I miss the Academy Awards? Because I was watching the World Baseball Classic. No. I wanted to see I wasn't gonna tune in, but I wanted to see, if Ki Kwan won and Brendan Fraser won. It's really all I cared about.
All you need to watch are the highlights. And by the way, you said World Baseball Classic. I have not watched, but the one viral meme that I was laughing at that I think you sent me also, Great Britain's jerseys.
Oh,
it looked like someone wrote Great Britain in someone wrote in Courier font and just said print.
Someone made them in graphic arts class, screen printed them at a high school. They're terrible. They're the weakest. And the image, if you Google search it doesn't even do it justice. When you see it live, you're like, that's their uniform? This is the World Baseball Classic. That's the best Great Britain could do? This is terrible.
Can you put it in Arial black font, or do you want to put it in Calibri?
Yeah, so weak. I have some thoughts on the World Baseball Classic. I'm getting there. But why did I miss the Oscars? Because, get this. I'm not comparing, I'm a dad of a pain in the ass. I mean, teenage daughter. What?
One last note about This Is Us. I'm sorry, The Last of Us. The viral picture that was going around all weekend of Pedro Pascal's Starbucks order.
Yeah, that's wild.
Spot, did you see that?
No.
Pedro Pascal, who, by the way, if you're caught up now on The Last of Us, Mandalorian, season 3 in full effect. He's the rage right now. His Starbucks order, someone zoomed up on it, and it was an espresso drink with, he had 6 shots.
Rich had 7 this morning. So Pedro's almost as bad as Rich.
Pedro Pascal, hold on, Starbucks. Because everyone seemed to be talking about it on social media. Yeah, it's on BuzzFeed right now. Pedro Pascal's intense Starbucks order has gone viral, and I'm pretty sure it would put me in an anxiety-induced caffeine haze. Apparently what he ordered had, let's see, it was an iced quad espresso with extra shots, so 6 shots total, Spot. That's a lot.
Sounds great.
All right, I'm sorry. Go on. I figured people saw that.
Yeah, I mean, and he's a pretty laid-back, subdued kind of guy. Imagine how he is without 6 shots of
ice quad espresso in a venti cup, extra ice, 6 shots.
Yeah, I would definitely have a heart attack. That would give me a heart attack. I would die.
Yeah.
You can overdose on caffeine. My ex did it. I remember.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Dutch Brothers, where you would go in Idaho, has their 911 drink that has 6 shots in it.
Pretty awesome.
It feels like you're drinking like a Four Loko. That's dangerous.
Call it a heart attack inducer. Panic inducer. I don't know. That sounds pretty excessive.
This is called anxiety attack. Have one.
That's actually what I need to keep up with Rich, but I know that I'll have a heart attack, so I don't. So on Sunday, I had all these plans of, man, I got to work ahead. I got lots of work to do. I'm going away this week. We're only here Monday and Tuesday this week. We'll explain why. We're going away. I'm like, I got a lot of stuff to do. Got a lot of melody stuff to do. I had just things I wanted to cross off my checklist. I'm filming some stuff that I'm doing on the side. I had to prepare for that. That was really weighing on my mind a lot.
To be prepared?
To be prepared. Yeah, I got to be prepared.
I can't wait till you're able to tell people about it. Covino's doing something I think that's pretty cool. It's so up his alley.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I've talked about it behind the velvet rope. Another reason to subscribe to Tier 2, even though we love everyone subscribing. And again, in the middle of my busy day, Jordan's like, you want to go for a walk with Theo? I was like, sure. Not really, but okay. It's nice out. So we went for a walk and kind of skipped a part. I was actually working. So I was voice tracking on the patio to get ahead. And I look over and I see Theo eating into what's that plant called, Spot? Like a figly fig? What's it called?
Oh, the figly figgy.
Figly fig plant? What? What's that plant called? Figly fig plant? Something fig. Finley fig? Is it a Finley fig
I
plant?
have no clue, but I'm gonna look it up. Finley fig. Hold on.
Figly fig. So, what's he doing in our figly fig?
A fiddle leaf fig.
Fiddly fig. Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
a
Fiddly
fiddle
fig.
leaf fig?
Fiddly fig. So, it's a dead fiddly fig plant, but he's still in it. And I see him like put his little feet up on the fucking thing, and he's like, sniffing around in there. I'm like, hey, but I'm
shit.
doing my turbo stuff. I'm voice tracking.
People know what this is. I looked at it. Yeah, a fiddle leaf fig. Yeah,
Fiddle leaf fig.
it's like a potted plant with
I thought
big.
it was a fiddly fig. Fiddle leaf fig. Fig leaf fiddle? Either way, there's a fiddle and a fig involved.
Yeah, let me pull it up. Yeah.
Is that the dance you do?
Yeah. So I see Theo, and he's always sniffing around. We have a lemon plant, a lime plant, and some cacti on the patio. But he's there, and I see him. He's always like eating on the mulch or the soil or something. He's always sniffing around. So, like, hey, get down. All right, that's Godsmack on turbo. Psst. And I look up again, and he has soil everywhere. Like a little kid with his finger painting all over the wall, right? Like, look at him. Jordan, get a hold of your dog. Yeah, that's a fiddle leaf fig. I don't know if the fiddle leaf fig has anything to do with the story, but I wanted to give you the backstory.
Oh, I thought this was the primary. I thought this
It might be.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be. But I don't know. So anyway, Jordan comes down. She's like, Theo, what did you do? Right? Theo, you rascal. What did you do? And because there's soil everywhere. He must have took the soil out, and he had dirt all over his face, just like a little kid with his pudding or some shit. It's cute, but you want to strangle him. And I'm sure everyone could relate to that. Didn't think anything of it. Reemphasized, Jordan hits me up. She's live on call. Reemphasized that it was a dead fiddle leaf fig. And we are aware that they're poisonous, but there's no leaves on it because we had it outside because I was just putting in the compost. So it was just outside, but it was dead. So it was just like a dead, not even a branch in there anymore.
Wasn't really doing much fiddly.
No, I used to have it in Melody's room, right? So it was just out there on the patio. And since he was all muddy and dirty and shit, Jordan's like, now I got to give him a bath. Well, you know what? Do you want to go for a walk? Because he gets all dirty during a walk. He's
Yeah,
a
so I might as well take him for a little walk.
All right, fine. So you take him for a walk, and, he's fine. He's fucking loving life, sniffing around. But again, it's L.A., right? You don't know what he's sniffing on. It could
This
be a
is
fucking,
L.A.
it could be a fucking, syringe. I don't know what's there, what he's eating, what he's sniffing at. It could be fucking, dirty condoms on the street. I don't know what it
A
is.
syringe.
Right? So, come on, Theo, let's go. Get back home, get in the elevator, and on the elevator ride up, he's collapsed on the elevator. Collapsed. He's never collapsed on the elevator. Man, he must be worn out.
Just like,
He must be worn out, this guy. That's what we're thinking. Jordan's like, all right, I'm going to give him a bath, right? Jordan's like, he was so behaved. Because usually like a dog, right? He's like, leave me the fuck alone.
I was really subdued.
He was so good. Theo, I'm so proud of you. Then, she's sitting there and she's like, look at him. Every 3 seconds, look at him. Isn't he cute? Yeah, he's cute. Look at him. Give him a pat. I'm like, he's good. Give him a pat. And she's like, I can't believe he's letting me blow dry him. So he's like just laying there like, right?
Huh.
Jordan's like, shh, get me the brush because he's being so good. I get her the brush. I'm like, can I go back to work now? She's like, he's being so good. Theo, good boy.
Man.
Right? Then I'm done with my voice tracking stuff for the minute. I'm sitting on the couch. Theo's all clean and fluffy. And she's like, Theo's been so good. She goes to clean his ears. And he's just like, she's like, I can't believe he's letting me clean his ears. Dude, like nothing has dawned on us yet that something's not right with Theo. Right? Seriously. Like he's just been, man, he must have been wiped out.
Your instincts at this point are not on.
No, because we're like, he must have been worn out. We went on a walk, he's tired, I guess. I don't know. She's like, I can't believe he's letting me, like, I'm digging in his ears. Usually he hates all this stuff. Good boy, Theo. I'm like, oh, good boy. I'm rubbing him. My guy. And then Theo. Oh, then she grabs the scissors. So then Jordan's like, well, fuck it. Since he's letting me do all this grooming that he never lets me do.
Yeah.
She grabs these little scissors to like cut around his eyes or something.
Yeah, a little hair for a little.
Then Theo finally says, I've had enough. So he gets up, right? And he lays on my lap. And we laugh about it. Like, I guess this is where Theo draws the line. Leave him alone. He's been good. Good guy. A few seconds later, Theo picks his head up. Now Jordan's like, Theo, you okay? He picks his head up and he's something's wrong. He does like he's high and his head wobbles really oddly. I'm looking from the back. Jordan's looking from the front. She sees his eyes are fucked up and he's like, his head was, I saw it from the back. Like he did a bobblehead thing, but like constant, like he couldn't stop shaking in a weird way.
No.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And she's like, wait, what is that? Why did he do that? It's really weird. So then we're looking at him and we're like, what the fuck's wrong with Theo? So dude, like, just like a little kid. Like I started the story, you never want to compare it to a little kid. But the commonality is you don't know what's wrong, and that's a scary feeling, right? And you're responsible for this little life. And I've lived it as a dad, and it's the worst. You start seeing a fever kick in. You start to panic a little, like, man, do I take him to the doctor? What do I do? You call somebody. Mom, Dad, what do you think? What should I do? It's the same sort of feeling, not as panicky with the dog, but it's still there. Because you're like, man, something's not right, I don't think. And looking at him, and now we know, like, fuck. Something's not right.
Then you start thinking, was it the figgy fig?
So then you start backtracking. You're like, did he eat anything along the way on the walk? Did he eat an edible? You would have thought he was high. Like he ate an edible and it was way high rocking him.
That would have been the best answer.
That would have been, if you would have told me that's what happened, I'd be like,
oh, perfect.
Clearly, but I don't have edibles lying around. Nobody does. I don't, I have no idea. And, before anyone speculates, Melody wasn't even home. Okay. She had just gotten home she slept over at a friend's house. And Melody doesn't take edibles. I'm just saying if anyone's going to speculate, right? So what the fuck could he have gotten into? Oh, shit. He had dirt all over his face. He always gets into these plants, but he was really into these plants this time, So Jordan's like, shit, we got to. Oh, so she calls her the insurance people. And they say something about like, was there fungus in the plant? Because it was a dead plant.
Oh,
but
like
was
The
there
Last
fungus
of Us? Is this going to be the beginning?
Yeah,
is Theo patient
was
zero?
there fungus on the soil if it's been dead and lying there for a while? And who knows? It's been on the patio. It's been raining for fucking 3 weeks here in LA. This doesn't sound right. It could be neurological. And we saw it. It looked odd. Like he was behaving weird. So now we're testing him there. Like, Theo, get up. He's not getting up.
Yeah.
Theo got a treat. He's not getting up. I got a spoon of peanut butter. Theo's not getting up. He don't give a fuck at this point. He's like out. He's out and he's like just laying around, barely picking his head up. It's like, fuck, we got to take him to the vet.
Yeah.
Took him to one place and they were closing down. But they're like, yeah, I don't know. Keep an eye on him. He looks all right. We don't know. You want to take him? So we call the insurance again. They're like, yeah, you should probably take him. Dude, 6 hours later. No joke. 6 hours later. And here's my observation. I've been to the vet before, but I've never been there this long. When you see, it's like, being at a hospital. I'm stating the obvious, but it might be the most miserable place to be because you just see people crying left and right. People are so worried about their pets, right? But then people are also coming there with their dead pets. People are also getting the news that we're going to have to, euthanize your pet.
No, it's a miserable place.
It is heart-wrenching.
That's why I'm
a pretty cold-blooded sort of guy sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Seeing these people react to their pet is like, man, this is terrible.
That's why when every young girl says, I want to be a veterinarian one day, I'm like, do you really?
Or you're a nurse there. It's hard.
Being a veterinarian is like, to me, being a veterinarian has the same, like,
you have to deal with so much misery.
It has the same disappointment and sadness that when like, I don't know, someone that works as like a hospice
Yeah,
nurse.
animals are even more helpless, though. You know, like they're helpless.
No, but I never understood the people. Like, I have friends that are cops, and I'm like, I don't know how you put that aside at the end of the day. If you're a hospice nurse or a veterinarian, where every day, imagine every day of your life you have to tell someone like, yeah, Wiggles, yeah, we're gonna have to put her down.
I was there.
Oh,
for
you know,
6
Gruffy,
hours and
yeah,
it was-
Gruffy, yeah, it doesn't have much longer to live. You have to tell every day of your life as a veterinarian. You probably have to deliver shitty news to a crying pet owner.
And just overhearing things, you're just hearing like terrible stories. Like I heard this one woman panicking because her cat bit into an electrical cord and swallowed copper wire. It was tearing up the cat's insides, and cat's been vomiting, been sick, and then she's worried about it. I saw a family bring in their cat to be put asleep, and you hear the cat meowing. Something's wrong with it. A woman brought her dead dog in. Other people. I saw a dog leave on a gurney. I saw a big giant dog. They had to help him back to the car. Like, and families crying. They all come in there like it's like a wig. Everyone's there with their sunglasses. What a sad, sad scene. But to really bring the point home too. When I got there, it was so busy, I just had to drop Jordan off and try to find parking because there was no parking. So I drop her off. She brings in Theo, and I park and I come back, and I'm like, wow, they took Theo? And then Jordan starts to explain to me. She's like, yeah, they took him. Meanwhile, there was like so many other pets ahead of her, right? I'm like, how did they take Theo? Because they were really concerned, and she starts to fucking bawl, and I'm like, oh my God. So they were so alarmed by Theo's behavior that they skipped the line because they thought it was maybe a poison scare or something that was going on with his brain. So they took him, which made it even more nerve-wracking, and just sitting there waiting without any updates for hours was so horrible. And I felt so bad for Jordan, really. And my job was really just to console her a little bit and just be there with her the whole time. But I felt so terrible. It was scary.
A lot of people are chiming in with the same thing. I just looked it up to confirm. Would you believe, based on what they have to deal with on a daily basis, veterinarians have one of the biggest suicide rates in the country? How wild is that? A female veterinarian, 2.5 times more likely to try to harm themselves. I guess it comes as a depressing job.
Dude, it was tough. And I'm not like some crazy animal guy. You guys know that. I mean, I have compassion. I like animals. I love them, but I'm not like people who live for their animals. So you see what's going on there. It's heart-wrenching. Jordan hit me up and said Theo had like a slow bobble. It wasn't like a tremor, not a tremor. So the guy at the end was like, 6 hours later, I missed the Academy Awards. I really didn't prepare for what I had to do, but we had to be there for the dog. Was like, I'm stumped on this one. I'm stumped. It sounds like a liver issue, but if he hadn't eaten, it's not that. Maybe it was the plant. Just keep an eye on him. They were going to pump his stomach. So they had us agree first that if we have to pump his stomach, do you agree? It's going to be like $500. Like, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But they said that he seemed stable and he was fine. He's still not 100%, because we know the dog. So we know he's not 100%, but he got into something. Something happened. Is it neurological? Was he slightly poisoned by what he ate? We still don't fucking know.
That sucks, man.
But he definitely got better, right? So 6 hours later, he was a lot better. But it was super scary, and it took my entire Sunday up. That's my story. Theo drama. The end.
What kind of soil was it?
It was soil that primarily came with the plant from Costco.
Okay. So maybe they put like some sort of
fertilizer or something.
Fertilizer, even an insecticide. Like there could be something in the soil that you don't see.
That's what we were thinking. But how long does that last? How long does that stay potent? When again the plant's dead and it's been outside.
Well, think about it. If someone's poisoned, I'm sure it's the same in an animal and a human. If a poison doesn't kill you, it fucks you up for a while. So like you're lucky that it didn't.
Fucked up.
No, but I'm saying if you were poisoned, if it didn't kill you, you'd be fucked up for a while and then get back to normal. So you got to just hope that he ate something bad, went through his system. He's fine. Yeah. But that was a scary moment.
And then you play a role, right? And your role is like to keep Jordan calm. Jordan was pretty calm. I give her a lot of credit. She was like, she just bursts out into tears, but she seems to be okay. And then she crumbles. So my job there is just to, he'll be fine. He's going to be all right. He's good. You're good, right, buddy? Oh, you're good. Yeah. But meanwhile, I'm also witnessing him. And I'm like, I had to back Jordan up. She wasn't overreacting. Like something was fucked up with this guy. He was not okay, and I saw his head bobble like that, and he was out of sorts. I'm like, fuck, something's wrong with this dog.
On the bright side, you got to clean him, brush him, and trim his eye hairs.
Exactly. Yeah. On the bright side, Jordan was able to cut his nails and dig into his ears, and he's never been cleaner. But man, something's up with him. But yeah, he was out of sorts the entire day, and it took up our entire day, man. So that was my entire Sunday.
I mean.
When Quan's gonna win.
Oh, when you have to go to the vet or the ER or the urgent care or anything, it is it's a scary moment, whether it's your kid or a dog or a family member. But I think you're right. The other underlying layer that people don't want to talk about is like my whole day. Like when Ben bumped his head, that was a whole 8-hour process. Like you go to the urgent care, go to the emergency room, go here. Like it is. It's a long day, but
they were so concerned with Theo. There was a woman there with the cat I just described who had the copper wire, and it was like a scene. She goes, "I've been here all day." I said, "What time did you get here?" She's like, 11 a.m. It was fucking 5 o'clock, and she was still there.
Jesus.
And we went before her. That's how concerned they were with Theo. They brought him in right away. And here's the final thoughts from Jordan. The veterinarian said it didn't align with poison. His symptoms didn't align with poison because he didn't throw up or have diarrhea. He said nothing lined up. That's why he was puzzled. Also, thought it sounded like drugs, but drugs, if he ate like an edible or he ate something on our walk, that usually lasts about 12 to 24 hours. Like 6 hours later, he was sort of back to normal a little bit. Not 100%, but he was back. And it wasn't liver because he hadn't eaten recently enough. Because the symptoms seemed like something liver related. So he was very puzzled, and he said, keep an eye on him. The conclusion is he was going to the vet on Tuesday for a checkup anyway, so we're going to do the blood work there on Tuesday. But man, I'm glad seems to be okay. He seemed okay this morning, but when you sign up to be a pet owner, like you really said it, you're signing up to be a parent, which is why there's a viral story of this guy dumping off his German Shepherd. Like, he's such a piece of shit. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a viral story. Like, if anyone knows this guy, fucking get him. And they have arrested the guy since. Because some guy dumped it. They caught it on camera.
I saw that.
Guy, he dumps his dog off and fucking drives away. Like, you're signing up to take care of this dog. And it's like, there's a part of me, like, I know how much Jordan loves her dog. There's a part of me that's like, man, like, you really, when you sign up to have a pet, you're signing up to have like a little fucking baby boy. Or girl, you're having a baby. You're signing up for a baby there because you're so responsible for this thing.
Yeah, but it's not only that. I mean, Sarah and I have already made the decision that, the sad day when Piper's not with us anymore.
Yeah, that's it.
We're done. Yeah. Well, like Piper's the one dog that I've actually really enjoyed. Like other dogs I've had have been like, it's all right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But when Piper is sadly no longer with us, Sarah and I, we're like, maybe when the kids are older and they're like, we want a dog. I'm in no business.
What's the thinking behind it? Just too much added responsibility?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not an animal lover enough.
And it's sad.
I'm not an animal lover enough. So to me, once,
it's sad because
Piper's a great dog.
Like you said about Piper, that their time is limited. I mean, all of our time is limited, but that they have a certain span and you're signing up to love the shit out of this dog. Just for that time, to make their life matter and show them love for that time. And it's so like,
as the meme goes, a dog is a little chapter of your life, but you are their whole life.
Yeah.
And when you think of it that way, it's like, that's fucking sad.
I would choose to not sign up for that sadness.
Yeah, I choose it too. I mean,
But I get it. People love their pets. I see why. And believe you me, it's a reminder. It shows you how much you care. It reminded me how much I care about Jordan, which I know, right? But I mean, to see her upset, I'm like, don't worry about it. And then I realized, this fucking poor little guy. Fuck, Theo, come on. Come through. I don't know what you ate, but Jesus. I don't know what happened. So that took my whole day up. That was yesterday. Theo drama show. And the Oscars came home. I was happy about that.
If you walk away from the vet only paying a few $100s, you're sort of lucky.
That's all it was. Because he didn't get his stomach pumped or anything. They didn't see any need to do that all those hours later.
The vets, again, they do difficult work and sad work. Like we said, suicide rates are higher for a vet. That's insane.
That is insane.
But
I didn't know that, but I could see why.
But you know what? They really do have you by the nuts because you go in there. All right, let's play it out. I'm not saying they scheme you, but let's say yesterday, the guy's like, Jordan, Steve, come in here. Yeah, we might need to do, he can make up some shit. We might, he may have eat the figgity fig. We got to run this test and this test. And I mean, if he did do that, I'm just saying he might die. The test is $2,700.
Well, you know this?
What would you have said?
There's a little bit of a racket first because before they even do stuff like, before they tell you to come in, they tell you to call the poison hotline, like the ASPCA Poison Control Center.
Is that like a copay too?
And that is a $95 like consultation. Like, yeah, my dog ate a fiddly fig. Fiddly fig. And I don't know, he's acting a little funny. Well, hold on. Then they do their research. Fiddly fig. What kind of dog is he? How much does he weigh? Oh, yeah, you better take him to the vet. Just for that's $95. So she just called her own veterinarian and the insurance.
As Louis C.K. once said, bringing a dog home is sadly just starting the countdown to sorrow.
That was kind of the reminder to me.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, listen, you can have a dog that lives 15 years and it's still like, you're going to have to say goodbye to your dog. And you see it all the time on Facebook. Like some random friends like, yeah, we say goodbye to, remember the dog we got back in college? And you're like, you've had that dog 15. Yeah, farewell. Sucks.
Seeing people break down holding their dead pets is the worst. It really is. It is horrible. So I'm stating the obvious. I get all that. Remember, though, I haven't been this involved with the dog in a long time.
Maybe in your life.
In my life, maybe, yeah. But then again, man, Monkey and Max were a big part of my life. But I didn't have them from when they were little babies. So maybe that's part of the difference.
Monkey and Max, your ex's dogs.
Yeah.
One of them's still kicking, right?
Yeah, knock on wood.
At like what age? Like 15, 16 years old?
I told Melody, I said, I think that I want to see Max. She's like, I don't think you do, Dad. I was like, he's that bad? Yeah, he don't even look the same. I'm like, fuck. Like, well, be nice to him. So anyway, sad. Love your pets. Hug your pets.
Hug your pets.
Yeah.
Well,
and speaking of animals, I have a question for Rich. Speaking of animals.
My favorite drummer. Yeah, animal.
Me like drum. I got a message from Luke Savage to ask you about your mouse update. Because Rich has critters.
I think they might be gone. I'm not sure.
He said that you said on your podcast with Nicole, which is supposed to be about children, but it's about smut and woodland creatures.
Yeah, I guess so.
He said that you thought a mouse and a rat were the same thing.
Well, they're both rodents. I was like, what's the difference? I never really could figure that. I was like,
he said that you thought they were the same thing.
What? They're both rodents.
Yeah, so what?
But when people say, we have.
So it's like, are we the same as apes?
No, but I'm saying like, if someone would be like, we have a mouse, we have a rat. Rat's got like a skinny, scaly tail, like a skinny, like skin tail where
a little mouse is little,
like
rat is bigger.
Yeah, but
like a New York rat.
Like a rat looks uglier. A mouse is sort of like cute. Mouse sort of looks slightly like a gerbil.
I'm not sure if Rich knew the difference up until a few days ago.
I just figured I knew the size was different. And I knew the gross tail of a rat, but I'm like, they're closely related rodents, right? They're sort of the same thing, but not. They're in the same ballpark.
Of course, they're all rodents, but that doesn't mean they're the same.
Do you think dogs? Here's a deep thought, high question.
Like a hamster and a gerbil are not the same.
Do you think all dogs know that they're the same species but different breeds?
I wonder about that.
Like, does a dog
have a deeper connection with their own kind?
Like, all right, my dog's a French bulldog. Your dog's a what?
Shih Tzu.
Shih Tzu. So French bulldog, Shih Tzu, Spot. What was your old dog? Kaiser.
Sorry, what was the
Did
question?
Spot eat a figgity fig? Spot, are you okay?
Spot, did you eat
Sorry,
a fiddly fig?
I had to pee.
What was your old dog again? Kaiser?
Boxer, right?
What
Boxer
was he?
pitbull or
He was
something?
a pit bull.
A pit bull. Do you think a pit bull, a French bulldog, and a Shih Tzu all know that we're the same animal, just a different breed? Or do they say, oh, you might as well be a fucking chipmunk, might as well be a rabbit or a cat? Do dogs acknowledge their same breed too? I wonder that. Like if a bulldog sees
think
another
they
bulldog,
do.
if a pit bull sees another pit, are they like, yo, what's up, dog? We're the same. Like,
I think so.
I do wonder. I mean, we'll never know, right? I mean, dogs aren't giving us reports. Do dogs think others are dogs just because they say, oh, they're being walked by a human? They must be a dog too.
Well, I don't know. If you want to hear more about this story and Rich's critter issue, that's no longer an issue.
I don't think so, at least. Maybe the construction guys set up, they said they were going to set up a couple traps or, again, there was just the house is exposed because they're doing construction. We think, I heard something a couple times up in the attic, like, tick, 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 tick. Then I went up there yesterday and I was like, I just saw no droppings. I saw nothing. I was like, maybe they just, they needed somewhere to go because they were in the garage. Anyway, Sarah had a thought yesterday. Can I just throw this at you? It was a deep thought, probably a high thought. And it really is, it's sort of like a sad reflection of where we are in society. Has to do with disappointment. When we were kids in the 80s, and even
Good time.
90s, Sarah was a kid in the 90s, when our parents were even younger, every time someone spoke about the future, wasn't it always very exciting? Sarah's thought was, the thought of the future was silver suits, flying cars, cool technology. But now, when you think of the future, you think of like disease and climate and like politics and war and like, is that just where we are at our life? Or did we all assume, like, I feel like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, we all thought the future was like the 2020s, the 2030s. Like that was like the future 50 years from now. And it was like robots, flying cars, self-driving, like technology and silver suits you always joke about. Mm-hmm. Now, when we look towards the future, maybe because we saw the effect social media has on all of us, like, don't you feel like the future feels like more of a grim future than a like exciting future? Or is that just overthinking it?
Maybe at the moment, right?
Like Spot, when I say future,
But all
when
the
you were a kid, it was
that
like
we talk about now,
yeah,
problems that people have been talking about like for a long fucking time. You know what I mean? Like listen to music. It's always the same issues. Talking about the same shit.
I guess so. It just I'm just saying, I feel like the future used to have like a really like cool like, yeah, there's gonna be like robots and silver suits and technology and this that. Now you think of the future like we're gonna be more discommunicated with each other. We're gonna be like, yeah, is there gonna be another fucking virus? Is there gonna be there might be aliens? I don't know. I just feel like it seems like a very
We lost the excitement.
I just feel like the future used to indicate.
Like the carousel of progress.
Yeah,
gave you a
Mauser.
boner.
Mauser agrees. He goes, the future went from Bright Back to the Future 2 to The Last of Us or like some type of... all the future stuff now seems to be some type of war or some shit goes wrong. Like a virus war or something. There's a new HBO
That's
show.
the final part of the carousel of progress.
Did you see the...
Yeah, into the silver suits, and then it's just all like...
Did you see that?
It's all destruction.
The trailer for the new HBO show? You going to watch that now that Last of Us is gone? The trailer for the show.
I forget what they call it. They call it something where there's been great civilizations before ours. And they often speculate how advanced these civilizations were. But something catastrophic happened to end those civilizations completely. I'm talking prior to pyramids and things like that. Mm-hmm. There's some sort of catastrophic event.
There's theories that we were
that chapter, and there's something, I forget the phrase or something where, and it starts all over again.
I guess you could wonder, well, where is that stuff now? But there's theories that like we've got to this level of civilization before and it was destroyed, meaning like previous. But then you'd be like, well, where's all the houses? Where's the computers? Where's all the stuff? But
I mean, dude, they just discovered a civilization in the Amazon with the courtesy of LiDAR.
But yeah, there's people that think we've been evolved before and then it just all went away and now we're just building back. Who knows? Atlantis, bro. Atlantis. But
I think it's just perspective.
yeah. Did you see that new trailer though? Are you going to watch that show? What is it called?
Easter Island. They just discovered more of those heads at Easter Island. Those weird monuments to honor their dead. There's a whole mess of them that they just found. Mass extinction events. There have been 4, according to Carrie Kuhneman. So like maybe like our focus went from silver suits and flying cars to, it seems like we're heading towards another mass extinction event based on, but everyone, like I said, every generation feels like everything's doom and gloom. When you look back and you listen to the music or listen to the comedy, like if you listen to George Carlin in the 60s, 70s really, he's talking about all the same shit that people are talking about today. So not much has changed. I'd say the biggest difference is the gloomy outlook of young people because they're just this little walking zombies.
Am I thinking, is it on Apple TV? Did I watch it there instead? There's a new show about is it For All Mankind?
No, it's the Mick Foley documentary.
Am I right by that, guys? Anyone chiming in? For All Mankind? There's a new, you have Apple TV because of Ted Lasso and stuff like that, right? But I think For All Mankind is a new show that starts now.
Yeah. Apple TV.
Maybe I'm wrong. All right, anyway. Did you see over the weekend?
Do you want to put a little bow on that discussion? So is the future less bright than we once thought it was? Or are we just falling into the trap of what art wants us to believe?
Yeah, it's a little...
Will life imitate art? And are we falling into that line of thought? Or is
grim.
The future still bright?
Something about it just feels grim.
Well, maybe the pandemic had a lot to do with that. Like the knowledge of, man, that really could happen. That kind of sucks. Life is vulnerable. We all could be wiped out. Civilization as we know it, could change like that. So maybe that had something to do with our perspective.
Yeah, maybe
so.
I'd
like to think that the future is still dope.
We're all very, I guess, egocentric would probably be the word. To think that a civilization that has existed for millions of years or a world that's existed for billions of years, we're going to be the ones to take it down.
Yeah, I always say that to Sarah. Sarah will say something like, I'll say something silly like, Sarah, there was a virus and we were all running on, I don't know, episode 1 of The Last of Us. She's like, why would you say that? I go, Sarah, you think in the God willing 90 to 100 years we're on the planet, you think that's when it's going to go wrong? Isn't that for a planet that's been around for billions of years? You, like Spot just said, you don't think it's a little ego driven to think that that's going to happen when you're here?
By the way, Andrew Hart says, Covino really makes it seem like LA's making sad, strange kids. I don't see that gloom and weirdness.
I agree with you.
Nephews.
I agree with you, Andrew.
You do? You forgot about all these mass shootings and these suicides and depressed teenagers
no.
The rise in mental health?
That stuff, yes. But
oh, no, that doesn't matter?
No, but...
So what do you mean? His little nose-picking nephews could be 5 years old. Life hasn't hit them at all yet.
No. I'm saying that state to state,
state to state, it is different,
way
but you
different.
can't ignore that.
Oh, yeah.
Mental health is a serious issue in this country, not just in LA, brother. Not just in LA, in this country. So get your head out of the sand when you're dealing with your nephews who you see every other week or so. When you hear kids talking to you about their friends and kids all the time, you're very conscious and aware of what kids are exposed to all the time and their outlook on things. You're very well aware of, man, these kids are a little fucking deeper thinking than we were because they're exposed to a lot more. It's not just LA. It's probably worse. It's definitely worse in LA, but it's not just LA. And if you think it is, then again, your head's in the clouds and you're not watching the news or you're not exposed to or aware of what kids are exposed to constantly. There's a major mental health issue with young kids. Everywhere. That's not news, and that's not my opinion. And today, speaking of timestamps, not that we were, but
How much does a stamp cost? 45 cents?
really?
Go to priceofastamp.com. That's the sole purpose of that website.
I'm going to say 45 cents.
Hold on.
Price of a stamp. How much is a stamp now?
58 cents.
58 cents?
Since when?
Actually, wait, hold on. No, wait, hold on. First class stamps, postcard is 48. A standard rectangular envelope, 63?
No.
That's incredible.
Maybe.
Hold on.
60
Price
cents, John
of-
D is saying.
I have to mail something today for the first time in a while. Price of a stamp. Priceofastamp.com, 58 cents.
58 cents.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait. Yeah. Wait.
What?
What? Now I'm confused.
Well, hey, you just said,
I said timestamp. I
You said
nothing about
timestamp, so I was
mailing
like, stamp.
packages.
all right, go on.
Timestamp. We started this show in 2004, officially, December of 2004, so right before 2005.
Yeah.
But planning and leading up to it, very much 2004. We've been doing the show a long ass time. You know, it's kind of wild. We talk about it a lot, how much time is flying and how much things have changed. And we're always talking about aging and stuff. That's like the underlying theme of a lot of our discussions sometimes. Man, can you believe the what'd you call it recently? The time what we're in? It's like time confusion
Yeah.
because of the pandemic. I forget how you referenced it. But here's a little bit of a timestamp. When we started this show of ours, my brother Tommy was like 11 or 12 years old. So a lot of the early stories of my little brother or, you know, my 12-year-old brother. Today, my brother turns 30 years old. Tommy boy. Tommy Head. Happy birthday to my brother Tommy, who's provided so many laughs and great content throughout the years. He's a good guy, good-hearted guy. He's just a funny dude. And we all love him. And I can't believe my little brother, who I still picture in a Pokemon hat, is 30 years old today. And he's pretty bummed about it. By the way, talk about perspective and people thinking differently. Kids have way more anxiety and deal with way more than we've ever dealt with. It's like they're born with anxiety now. But Andrew Hart would debate that.
I wouldn't.
And my brother, who's 30, has a really like different outlook at turning 30 than I did. When I turned 30, I didn't give a fuck. I don't think I cared
What
at
is he all
all.
worried about? 30's like a nice age.
Yesterday, he's like,
30's a
today's my
great
last day in my 20s, you. And I was like, yep, you're an old man moving forward. But he's kind of deep down bummed because I guess maybe he's not where he wants to be at 30.
Yeah, maybe
or-
that's it.
Yeah, but still, he thinks like, you know, it's all weak moving forward. Like 30's weak, 30's like old, and fuck, it's a timestamp for him. Like, you know, I should be doing bigger things with my life. It's just one of those moments for him. And I'm like, dude, 30, man, I wish I could be 30. You know, I even tell my, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, no, we discussed this with him. I remember when he came on when you were out of town. 30, I think, is a great age. It's the prime of a man's life.
Yeah.
I think 35 to 40 is when you can start feeling that pressure if nothing's in place. But 30 is perfect.
It's
like,
all how you carry yourself and your mentality.
Yeah.
It's like, I watched Marlon. I want to talk about this too, maybe later if we have time. We're sort of wrapping things up soon. But Marlon Wayans was talking about in his new special, which is fantastic, how Will Smith was always like a man. He always had a chest and a mustache. He's like, I feel like I went through puberty 2 years ago. You know, he's like, it's all part of your mentality, man. Like, I still feel very young at heart and feel very young. I know that I'm not. I know that I'm getting older. You know, and I see what I see, but it's still part of who I am. And it's like, you can't start thinking old like that. Dude, you're 30, bro.
I mean, I agree with Maxwell, who hit us up. Pumped to be 30? Yeah. 40? Not so much. I remember 40 did hit me. I was like,
Still-
ooh, 40.
Still don't care that much.
No, I agree. But 30 to me, I look at it like this. The age of an athlete is sort of reflective of your prime, because that's sort of your physical prime as a man. Like, I would say 28 to 35 was sort of your, like, if you're a single guy, 27 to 35, like maybe 25 to 35, that window. But then now I'm realizing this stage of life, like early to mid 40s, I'm 43. I feel like right now,
my brother was younger than Melody is now when I started the show.
wow.
So a little timestamp of how much time has gone by.
I look at it at this
He's
stage.
a 30-year-old man now.
40s is when you're starting to get to where you want to get to, right? That's sort of what you're hoping for, at least, right? Like, I said to my dad the other day, who, by the way, is back from, he was so bummed. My dad played all the games on his vacation, and he came in second place in ping pong.
Oh, wow. He lost
to some young foreign
but
guy.
he's been focusing on other things.
Yeah, he did. So
Shooting pool and stuff.
some young foreign guy. I was like, what? Oh, boy. But
was it the host of Blue's Clues that beat him?
my dad was saying how I said I bumped into our boss at the Billy Joel concert. I told him the story. He's like, oh, what'd you do this weekend? I go, oh, Friday. And I said, you'll never believe this. He goes, oh, I've heard you mention, Shapiro. What is he, like in his 50s or 60s? I go, no, he's 43. He's my age. He goes, and he's the guy running Fox? I go, Dad, I mean, I'm at the age where people are, running things, like, I think my dad needed, forgot that perspective where.
Plus, our boss was he had a great start. He was the producer of Mike and Mike on ESPN.
Yeah, but I feel like mid 40s, early to mid 40s.
That was a long ass time ago.
No, but I'm saying early to mid 40s is when you do start to come into your own at work. If you've had that trajectory at your job, like I see a lot of my friends, and, even someone like a Zito Spot. You and I were talking about Mark Zito the other day. Like, it's not wild to me that if Zito or someone of that caliber who's even younger than us starts to become like VPs of things, because isn't that when it happens? Like, you're not 20 anymore. Like, when you see people talk about like entry-level jobs or this job's, I'm like, you're a veteran. You've been at it for 20 something years. It's not wild to think someone in their 40s is running shit.
No. It's wild for me to know that I'm older than that guy. That's kind of wild to me. But there it is. So my brother was like 12 when we started this. 30 today. Happy birthday to the Tud Master, Tommy.
He shares a birthday with William H. Macy.
I'm sure he's stoked about that.
And Common.
Sure.
No one really else that Emil Hirsch. Who cares?
Emil Hirsch, he's a great actor.
But yeah, Matt hit us up and said my director was recently promoted to a VP position, and he's younger than me. Yeah, I feel like we just look a lot. We look a lot younger than other generations, so it's deceiving, right? Like a 30-year-old looks like a kid. A 40-something-year-old looks like they're still relatively young. When your grandparents were 50, 60 years old, they looked old.
Want to hear a great one?
50, 60
right,
now
ready?
does not look old.
We always say, in our world, in our life, you had to choose, right? Were you a He-Man guy or a Thundercats guy? Garfield or Heathcliff? Nirvana or Pearl Jam? We talked about this. Were you a Roper or a Furley guy, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Furley, as we know him, Don Knotts, was 55 when he had the role. Norm Feld,
Yeah.
who played Mr. Roper, was 53.
Those guys are in their early 50s. Roper and Furley, they look, to me, what a 70-something. My dad looks younger than them, and my dad's 71.
They were 53 and 55, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what? No way.
Kerry Kuhneman hit us up, and, Poufador Paul's a big shot in his business world. Most careers are about 30 plus years, right?
Norm Fell. I thought it was F-E-L-D. It's F-E-L-L. Norman Fell.
Mid-management by the 40s is normal. Executive level by 50 should be the goal, I would imagine, for most people that are in that world. If you're trying to work up the corporate ladder, I would say 45 to 50 is where you start getting those big opportunities, no? And then you realize what happens. See, our world's different because we could be, you could be a broadcaster making millions or making zero. But if you have a job where you're following a trajectory, like I would say, once you hit a certain level, you don't backtrack. Like if let's say you do some type of computer programming and you make, a couple $100,000 a year, every job you apply for from now on is that type of job. You're not going to go backwards. We just forget sometimes we're not the entry-level kid. You're not competing with 20-year-olds.
Yeah. So timestamp, which is, by the way, 60 cents now.
Archie Bunker was in his 40s?
All in the Family, probably.
Christmas.
Based on the theory of how old people looked back then. In the rando news, no need for a graphic spot. There's really not a whole lot. Academy Awards, everything, everywhere, all at once. Kiwi Kwan, congratulations. What a major comeback for him. And Brendan Fraser, congrats. World Baseball Classic, I know you might not care, but my goodness, there's a difference in passion when you're representing your country. There's a different level of pride, and the hype and the energy at the World Baseball Classic is next level exciting, man. It's like watching the Little League World Series, but they're major leaguers. It's fantastic. I've always been a fan of this tournament, the WBC, and it's hot right now. Mexico clobbered USA. And don't think for a second that USA doesn't want to win. They're supposed to win. It's an American game. Everybody's catching up, man. Some really great games, and we're seeing some really cool things. We already established Great Britain's uniform is weak as hell. Team Mexico looking strong. Puerto Rico, Venezuela, they played this weekend. But something cool happened. Shohei Ohtani hit his first ever WBC home run.
Yeah.
And it goes to show you the difference in cultures. When Aaron Judge hits his 62nd or anything major happens, people are fighting for that ball, right? Ohtani hits a home run in Japan. So in front of all of his biggest fans, right? And he hits a fucking bomb.
Part of my ignorance, are all the games different places around the world, or is it all in Japan?
No, it's
all over?
Yeah.
Okay.
He hits a home run, blast, and someone retrieves the ball. But instead of fighting and scratching and punching each other in the face for the ball, the person who caught the ball hands it over to the next person and to the next, and everyone in the stadium takes a picture of them holding the ball, and then they return it to the original owner of the ball.
Wow, that's cool.
And everyone was there to cheer on Ohtani. He's
do you mean they're classy?
I mean, just a different level of class. Yeah. And
by the way,
culture.
didn't an electrician strike him out?
Yes.
Because the Czech Republic is made up of all regular dudes, which is hilarious.
And Team Italy, they have Nespresso machines in their dugout, and they're playing hard, man.
That's fun to watch. I seen the highlights.
Not want to be embarrassed, and they're playing tough. I saw Russia. I believe it was Russia. They got beat 22-2 or some shit like that.
And then Putin had them all murdered.
I got to double check on. Again, there's a lot of games going on, so I'm not up on every one of them. But I'm telling you to tune in because you'll see a next level of passion that you only see in soccer for the World Baseball Classic. It's amazing. It's fun to watch.
I saw some of the highlights, but I saw one meme that it was tweeted by someone that was legit, so I'm pretty sure it's true. But there's a stat now that I think is remarkable. If this is true, which I think it is, because the source was pretty solid. Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah. He's on Team USA.
Kyle Schwarber.
Pretty sure.
Has hit a home run. Get this. Follow. It's a long list. Kyle Schwarber has hit a home run in an AL wildcard game, an NL wildcard game, a National League Division game, an American League Division game, an American League Championship Series, a National League Championship Series, the World Series, and the World Baseball Classic. Kyle Schwarber has hit a home run on every major stage now. And I was like, that's got to be a pretty wild checklist to do all that.
It's so cool to see guys like Kyle Schwarber stepping up, hitting bombs, but playing against other people who aren't in the big leagues necessarily, but they're representing their country. You have to be a citizen of that country. Like Freddie Freeman representing Canada. It's fucking cool, man. I'm telling you, if you guys aren't tuned in even a little, I think you should check out a game to see what I'm talking about. World Baseball Classic's going on, and the hype is real. And then I referenced Marlon Wayans. I do want to say this. We talked about Chris Rock and how his special was a little polarizing. It was 50-50. I think the best take and the best perspective that I've seen yet was Marlon Wayans' new special. You could say that he's exploiting this situation or capitalizing off this story, but his entire special is about how he grew up knowing Jada, grew up knowing Will, grew up knowing Chris Rock. And at 50, I feel like the dude's in his prime. He looks fantastic, and I've never seen his comedy this tight ever. Like, he's not known for his stand-up. Marlon Wayans slayed it on HBO Max. I watched it at the barbershop, and I was dying laughing so hard and loved it so much I had to go home and finish it. So props to Marlon Wayans and his new special. And again, it's inspiring because I feel like he's peaking at 50. Props to him. And then I just got some shout-outs to give. Anything else?
Looks like Jimmy Garoppolo has found a new home.
I heard.
According to Adam Schefter.
Right, I didn't hear.
Is
I
it your
saw
guest
someone.
room?
Yeah, I saw someone post it.
Adam Schefter reported 9 minutes ago that the Raiders are giving former 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo a 3-year, $67.5 million deal, including a $34 million guaranteed part of it. So, see, that to me is a really good deal for both because you're getting Garoppolo cheaper than Derek Carr, way cheaper than Carr and Daniel Jones. Garoppolo at 67 divided by 3.
He's 31, I believe.
67.5 divided by 3. 22.5 a year with 30-something guaranteed. That is $22 million against your salary cap versus $40-something million is a huge difference. If Garoppolo could do what he did in San Francisco with the Raiders, making $20 million, they could keep every one of that, and they franchise tagged Josh Jacobs. So Josh Jacobs, Waller, Renfro, Devontae Adams, like Garoppolo's
A lot
got
of weapons. Not as many
Garoppolo.
as the 49ers, but a lot of weapons still.
Garoppolo's
so
got weapons. If they boost up that offensive line, I promise you, especially with McDaniel's system.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. Yeah.
Oh, we should talk about that with Danny G on Fox
Really
today.
happy.
I'm
I
sure we
like
will.
Jimmy G. Which means, again, as the dominoes fall, is that the expression?
Yeah.
It only leaves two places for Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay or the Jets.
Well, the Jets is going to happen. Apparently, it's a done deal. Aaron Rodgers just needs to
I
give
know.
it the thumbs
We
up.
should be hearing either today or tomorrow.
And you saw the Chicago Bears traded away their first pick for a bunch of other shit. And
their money on
Jalen Ramsey now on the Miami Dolphins. So NFL offseason still bringing it.
Yeah, to the entire nation. So we'll be talking more about that on Fox Sports Radio. And then here's the update. We're here today, obviously, and tomorrow. So Monday and Tuesday, you get Covino and Rich on Patreon, plus Fox Sports. But we will not be here Wednesday, Thursday, because we're going to be in Mexico. Rich and I are going away on vacation.
Mexico.
Hopefully coming back with more stories.
Not together.
Yeah, not together, separately. So just to give you a heads up, we're not going to be here Thursday, Friday. We'll make it up to you somehow,
Wednesday,
some way.
Thursday, Friday.
Wednesday, Thursday, I meant.
Oh, yeah.
We're never here on Friday.
Oh, yeah. We're not here. Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday. So join us tomorrow. We'll be here tomorrow. And just thanks for understanding. You know, it's just like any other job. We have to take off every once in a while.
Yeah, need to refresh. I've needed this. I was telling Sarah, I was like, I think of the years and years and years we've worked together. This is definitely a top 3 or so, maybe top 3 to 5 time where
There's a reason.
I've really needed a break.
We remember we were working 6 days a week straight for over a year to win over this Fox Sports Radio job. We've been on that constant grind since. And then when we got the job, we haven't taken off. No one takes off when you just get a job.
Yeah, exactly. So
of course, we've traveled and we've done things, but we haven't taken off.
Yeah,
I know that's hard for people to believe.
I know. It's. I was telling Sarah, I go, to reiterate what he just said, we got the Fox gig. And if you remember, our Fox gig was every Sunday.
Right.
And we were doing Monday through Friday and doing Sirius XM and doing Patreon. So we were working 6 days a week for a year. And then you're right. The minute we got the Fox gig in September, we've been there at Patreon and SXM with no time off. And when you talk about time off, like business trips are fun, but Spot, I think you'll be the first to back me up. While Phoenix at the Super Bowl was a great week and we had a good time together, that was not a vacation.
No, definitely.
No, we were. If anything, it was like it was and wasn't. It felt like one, but at the same time, we were doing just as much, if not more, work because we were running around.
Yeah, we were. You
Spot
set up a Patreon studio in his hotel room. We were going to and from Radio Row 2 times a day to do pre-taped interviews, then do our live show, other interviews,
business meetings, work meetings, dinners.
And dinners, honestly, dinners with the guys, relaxing. Dinners with the bosses when you're trying to make sure you're like, you don't want to say the wrong thing. You're trying to, have good conversation. Like business trips and personal trips, so different.
Oh yeah, Rich going to Texas for a 3-day weekend, or me taking a 3-day weekend in Idaho. That's not
a vacation.
It's not a vacation. And usually we're still doing our work. We're
you mean taking a road trip for 3 days with kids in the car from New York, from LA to Texas?
And
Is it a vacation?
Broadcasting from Texas.
Yeah.
So this is our first vacation, believe it or not, in a long ass time.
I haven't told Sirius XM I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the weekend, and Monday. I'm like, I just need not to say Pop 2K hits one of the pulse for like a week. I need to not think about 2K. That.
And Spot's in New Jersey, and then tomorrow we got to write it down. Tomorrow Spot's going to tell us what he's doing. What's Spot doing? What's Spot doing on Grindr? I mean, in New Jersey.
Oh, Spot, are you going to investigate the East Coast booty or what?
Yeah,
Find out
I've
tomorrow.
looked already. I don't know if I have the time or energy.
You know what, Spot? I have a question.
I'd rather hang out with people that I haven't seen that are my friends.
No, I agree. I think that's a better choice. Like getting
a drink. Chuck, what the fuck, and Kevin K. Diddy, tell him I said what's up.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Spot.
I definitely have plans with K. Diddy on Wednesday.
Nice. I was gonna say, you know what? Seeing your buddies is more important than random ass. However, here's my thought: when you're in LA, it's sort of like while you've been here how many years now? 8 years?
17. Time's flying.
The fact that you've been in LA, Spot, 7 to 8 years now, it's still not, quote, home, meaning like you're never going to bump into a childhood friend here. Do you feel weird about exploring your sexuality in your hometown? Because you have a reputation out of town as like...
If I were much more discreet and DL, then I would be like a little bit nervous, but I don't care.
You don't give a shit?
The world knows my personal life. I don't care.
Okay. Don't speculate too much. Will Spot reveal his new lifestyle to his big brother, Ed? Ooh. Oh, wait, hold on, save it.
That's a good one.
Why has it already happened?
For a week. Ooh, he's gonna be there for a week.
All right, so Spot.
Well, here's the thing, because I'll get more into it tomorrow.
Okay, I wrote it down.
As to why it may happen this week. This
is what we'll definitely get to tomorrow, because again, we are live tomorrow. A few shout outs to give too.
But by the way, just can I give one more sports note, something to talk about on Fox also today? If you look at the NBA standings right now I know not everyone's a huge NBA fan, but do you know that from the Clippers, who are the 5 seed, all the way down to the Pelicans that are the 12 seed, tied with the Lakers, there's 4 teams that have the same exact record right now. The Jazz, Thunder, Lakers, Pelicans are all 33 and 35. Now, right above them,
Jazz.
There's 2 teams that are 34 and 34, the T-Wolves and Mavericks. Jazz. And right above them, there's 2 teams that are 35 and 33. So from the Clippers to the Pelicans, the 5 seed to the 12 seed, there's only a 2-game difference with 4 games to play. How fucking nuts is that?
That is nuts. So time to tune in there too.
So the Lakers losing last night to the Knicks was big.
Check out the NBA. It's coming down to the wire. Check out Marlon Wayans stand up. I think you'll dig it, man. And it's cool to see this guy again. I think he's peaking at 50. Looks great. Was hilarious. His perspective was great. And World Baseball Classic. Man, everybody's so fired up about that. Team USA better step it up too, man.
Spot, you get Taylor Ham yet?
I'm trying to stick with my diet.
Don't give me that bullshit.
I got 11 days straight of my new fast spot.
Are you really giving me this bullshit that you're going to be on the East Coast for a couple days? You're not going to get any pizza or
no.
Taylor Ham.
I went to Lidl yesterday and shopped for my supplies.
Well, he's back with his trainer now, so he's on a strict regiment, or as we say, regime.
It's called discipline, Rich. It's called discipline.
Well, I don't think it's worth it.
Look at it. I got 12 days straight of my fast. Where I'm not eating for 16 hours plus. Yeah.
Not bad.
And once it starts to kick in, you're probably good to lose about at least a pound a week. At least. We'll see what happens.
How long does it take to kick in?
I've actually read about that. It could take a few weeks.
And then you lose a pound a week?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard. I mean, listen, intermittent fasting is a thing that is proven. I mean, you can't. It works, but we will.
How long does it take for an intermittent fast to show results?
Just
funny.
start taking Ozempic like everybody at the Oscars.
I know. Between 2 and 4 weeks. Additionally, it'll take your body some to get used to this new eating schedule. So don't expect results right away. Might need to wait between 2 and 4 weeks to see or feel any results. And that's the thing. Whether it be a new vitamin you're taking or a new regimen or a new diet, people don't see immediate results and they're like, I don't notice anything. You got to get past that hump. Let your body adjust.
To me, I mean, I don't know. Intermittent fasting just doesn't seem appealing to me because I feel like
It's just
the
something.
second I'm able to eat, I'm just going to want to eat garbage.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if you
if
keep it into that,
hungry.
If you keep it into that window, you could eat a little worse, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you, Spotty. We'll
Thank
see
you
you guys
guys.
tomorrow. And by the way, I'm looking at the Lakers schedule. Of their remaining games, they're against all the teams that are in that like little window for the most part.
Little windows.
Little window.
It's heating up. So shout outs to Dario.
Right.
I hold the Dario. What up, Dario?
I love the Dario.
Shout out to Alexandra Daddario.
The double Darios.
Oh.
Seth Clark, what up? Christy Morris, Amy Lance, Mike Durband, Manuel Mendoza, Eric, all the Erics, Tanya. What up, Tanya? And my
Brandon.
brother, Tommy Boy, formerly known as Tommy Head. The Tudmaster Tommy turns 30. Happy birthday.
Oh, you know who else has a birthday today? Joel in Jersey. Shout out to him.
Hey, Joel, happy birthday, buddy. You share that with my goofy brother,
Well, hey,
who's old now.
have a good one. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll have a great show before we take a few days. So we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, arrivederci, baby.
See you
In the private land. Goodbye.
Don't talk.